Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales. Chapter 55-16. In the midst of the chaos heavenly fire, Tuoba Zhantian's gigantic fiend celestial heritage body took a step towards Kang Xinmu. He was like a fiend celestial that had walked out of a sea of fire, his body surging with boiling lava. Your strength is not bad. However, if that's all you have, you are not my match. Tuoba Zhantian's voice was like rolling thunder from beyond the heavens as it resounded throughout the arena. The chaos heavenly fire pillar dispersed the darkness and blasted apart the demonic mist formed by the demonic wing tornado. Immediately following that, he took a step forward. The entire arena seemed to be trembling. Endless streams of magma gushed out from the ground. Chaos smelting fire purgatory. Tuoba Zhantian continued with his supreme god-fiend martial technique. The chaos smelting fire purgatory was his strongest supreme god-fiend martial technique. He had already comprehended it to the extreme sage realm. When he used this move, the chaos heavenly fire fiendish aura in his body erupted completely. It surged throughout the arena. Following that, a terrifying force erupted from the ground and spewed out, enveloping Kang Xinmu's entire 16-winged Skyphian celestial body. The chaos-smelting fire purgatory erupted with endless purgatory power. It used the extremely hot lava to form veins, forming a furnace hell. Kang Xinmu's 16-winged Skyphian celestial body was instantly enveloped. Endless waves of heat surged in from all directions, as though they were trying to melt him into a pool of blood. The explosive power of the chaos-smelting fire purgatory at the extreme sage realm was something that even Kang Xinmu's Skyphian celestial body could not withstand. Skyfiend Divine Wings Abyss. Kang Xinmu's 16-winged Skyphian celestial body seemed to have endless black streams of light flowing along its 16 wings. A black beam tore through the void, as though a Skyphian celestial hand had reached out from the void and enveloped Kang Xinmu's Skyphian celestial body. But soon, everyone realized that it was not the Skyphian celestial hand that tore through the void, but the divine wings. Kang Xinmu's 16 wings seemed to link with the powerful existence in the void, weaving a black net of light that condensed into a void abyss. This void abyss enveloped him like a black stream of light that shimmered around him, separating him from the surrounding lava-smelting fire purgatory. This void abyss enveloped him and flashed around him like a black stream of light, isolating him from the surrounding lava-smelting purgatory. The abyss of the heavenly demon god's wings had created the abyss of the heavenly demon god. When Jiang Shenwu completely activated the power of the 16 wings, the defense of the abyss of the heavenly demon god's wings had increased by many times. With the lava-smelting purgatory's defense, even though he was in the endless lava-smelting purgatory, it wasn't affected at all. The eyes of Kang Xinmu's 16-winged Skyphian celestial body flickered with a black light. With the 16 wings spread, he looked like the noblest Skyphian celestial in the world, descending from the sky. Streams of black light formed an insurmountable void abyss that enveloped him, isolating him from the outside world. The lava-smelting purgatory has reached the ultimate saint realm. Tuoba Zhantian's expression changed slightly. He had been fighting against the Su royal family for many years. Naturally, he knew the supreme divine demon martial skills that the Su royal family often used. The lava-smelting purgatory was a martial skill that summoned the void abyss, and it relied on the 16-winged Skyphian celestial wings. At this moment, the lava-smelting purgatory that Kang Xinmu displayed was so powerful that it directly isolated his lava-smelting purgatory, which shocked him. This person was not ordinary. He even seemed to be able to unleash the full power of the 16-winged Skyphian celestial. Tuoba Zhantian didn't know if it was just his imagination, but the Kang Xinmu before him, this young man from the Dragon God clan, seemed different from the other young men of the Su royal family. This feeling made Tuoba Zhantian feel threatened. It seems that I have to use my full strength. Tuoba Zhantian's chaotic heavenly fire demon body was covered in endless flames. In front of his demon god body, the flames condensed into the shape of a giant flaming hammer. This giant flaming hammer seemed to have condensed all the fire power in the world, emitting surging heat waves. The terrifying scarlet light of the heavenly fire made the giant flaming hammer look like a scarlet sun, illuminating the entire wrestling ring. Supreme Divine Demon Weapon, Chaotic Fire Divine Hammer. The eyes of Tuoba Gentian's demon god body were like erupting volcanoes, emitting endless chaotic heavenly fire. They looked like two flaming eyebrows floating in the air, or like two huge meteors descending from the sky. He reached out his hand. Holding the chaotic fire divine hammer tightly, his demon god body was like a demon representing fire. He lifted his feet, and a burst of scarlet chaotic heavenly fire surged in the whole wrestling ring. Waves of fire spread throughout the wrestling ring. Then, he waved the chaotic fire divine hammer in his hand in the void, as if the whole void was burning. Heavenly Fire Seal. The chaotic fire divine hammer moved the void, and the scarlet flame spread in the whole wrestling ring. Streams of fire were drawn from the void. These streams of fire swept toward Kong Shinmu's demon god body and entangled the abyss of his heavenly devil wings. Originally, Kong Shinmu's abyss of the heavenly devil wings was like the most stable defense, isolating him from the outside world and preventing him from being hurt. But at this moment, the abyss of the heavenly devil wings was entangled by the heavenly fire explosion energy, and there was an indescribable sealing power that completely sealed the abyss of the heavenly devil wings into the void. With the super firepower of the chaotic fire divine hammer, the heavenly fire explosion energy, which was originally at the supreme level, even completely sealed Kong Shinmu's entire 16-winged heavenly devil body. Kong Shinmu felt that all his strength was being rapidly drained, and he was being sealed in an absolute void. Have you used a supreme god-level demon weapon? In that case, I also have a supreme god-level demon weapon. The formless weapon, Chen Xing, was not a specialized supreme god-level demon weapon, but it could exert the same effect on any means of the demon god clan. Convert, Void Battle Runes. In the formless Chen Xing, Kong Shinmu converted all the battle runes into void battle runes. At this moment, his whole person's sensitivity to the power of the void erupted in an instant, and it was several times stronger than before. Originally, his perception of the power of the void had already surpassed that of ordinary people. At this moment, he completely crushed his opponent. He could clearly feel that the void in this wrestling ring was flowing like a long river, and at this moment, it had been disturbed by the two of them. Demon Wings Tornado, Explode. Kong Shinmu still used the same supreme god-level demon martial technique, but this time, it was enhanced by the formless weapon, Chen Xing, and it had a terrifying power of the void. Chapter 55:17. It was the same demonic wing tornado, a transcendent divine demon martial technique. However, after Jiang Shenwu executed the formless celestial weapons, its might was completely different. His opponent's heavenly fire explosion seal was directly shattered. Tuoba Gentian's expression changed dramatically. He had never thought that Kong Shinmu would be able to break the heavenly fire explosion seal with the help of his chaotic fire refining divine hammer. Endless void energy flowed in the surrounding space and enveloped Kong Shinmu's 16-winged heavenly demon god body. A terrifying shockwave rippled through the entire arena. Kong Shinmu took a step forward, and the 16 black wings on his back fluttered with the void, almost merging with the entire space. 1,000 demon wing blades. Kong Shinmu raised his hand, and the 16 wings on his back stretched out instantly. Countless black blades emerged from the demon god's wings. Along with the formless star weapon battle runes, the battle runes were all transformed into offensive battle runes. Endless heaven and earth energy gathered from all directions, as if forming a vortex of power. Kill. The endless 1,000 demon wing blades traveled through the void with the whistling sound of the wind. This paramount sage transcendent divine demon martial technique caused Tuoba Gentian's expression to change drastically the moment he attacked. So powerful. Tuoba Gentian felt that he could not resist the aura alone. It was too powerful. The strength of the attack was not something that a Stage 2 Supreme Demon God could release. What was wrong with this guy? Or was it that the MO weapon in his hand was something out of the ordinary? What was so unusual about it? What he did not know was that the formless weapon was extraordinary. All the battle runes could be changed freely, and when used to strengthen the attack, it could increase its destructive power by at least 10 times. This was not only suitable for dragon martial skills, but also for demon martial skills. Tuoba Gentian had already cultivated the 1,000 demon wing blades to the ultimate divine realm. With the addition of the formless star weapon battle runes, its power was far beyond his cultivation level. At this moment, countless strands of devil energy had converged into countless blades, and they pressed down towards Tuoba Gentian like a storm. It formed a whirlwind of blades, containing a boundless cold and pitch-black aura. An austere aura spread throughout the entire area. Every blade seemed to be able to cut through the void, traversing through the void. The chaos-refining fire divine hammer in Tuoba Gentian's hand also erupted with endless power at this moment. Like a lava volcano, the giant hammer in his hand bloomed, and a scarlet color was born and spread around his demon god body. Endless magma sea. Flowing lava. The entire arena seemed to have turned into a sea of fire. Even the void started to burn. Countless surging lava rose from the endless molten sea. They transformed into ancient flame phantoms that welcomed the demonic energy blades that filled the sky. The transcendent divine demon martial techniques of both sides clashed at this moment and instantly exploded. Countless fragments of the devil chi blade exploded with a loud bang. Even the crimson lava was blown to smithereens in the vortex of power. In the endless molten sea, surging flame phantoms continuously appeared. However, every time a flame phantom formed, it would be smashed into pieces by the surrounding pitch-black blades. The endless blade phantoms even suppressed the entire molten sea. It was as if a sea of water was pouring down from the sky, extinguishing the sea of flames. The original scarlet and black colors quickly turned black. The entire arena was shrouded by the 1,000 demon wing blades, and it became a world of pitch-black blades. Suppress. Kong Shinmu took another step forward, and his huge demon god body descended like a demon god. Accompanied by countless pitch-black demon wing blades, Kong Shinmu suddenly appeared like a demon god. The endless molten sea was suppressed by the 1,000 demon wing blades. Kong Shinmu's arrival was like the final mountain that completely suppressed Tuoba Gentian's demon god body and forced him to retreat. Ah! Tuoba Gentian let out a roar, but his celestial demon body was completely suppressed by Jiang Shenwu. His celestial demon body was completely suppressed, causing him to fall to the ground, unable to stand up again. Extinguish. The surrounding lava, which still wanted to erupt, was suppressed by Kong Shinmu's demonic energy and extinguished. Only the pitch-black shadow of the 1,000 demon wing blades remained. Kong Shinmu, 1. This scene caused all the spectators to stop talking, and their expressions became extremely interesting. Before the fight started, they thought that Kong Shinmu of the Su royal family would definitely not be able to defeat Tuoba Gentian. After all, one was a second-stage super demon god, and the other was a fifth-stage super demon god. They were even discussing how many moves Tuoba Gentian would need to defeat Kong Shinmu. However, in the blink of an eye, Kong Shinmu completely suppressed Tuoba Gentian. Tuoba Gentian is defeated. In the Tuoba royal family's seating area, everyone's expression became gloomy. They did not expect Tuoba Gentian to lose. It was true that Tuoba Gentian would not be able to make it to the end, but this was only the second round. Moreover, his opponent was only a second-stage super demon god. The personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon is indeed worthy of his reputation. Everyone exclaimed. As for the Tuoba family, they now looked down on Tuoba Gentian. He could not even defeat a second-stage super-god. Moreover, this kid mainly cultivated the inheritance of the dragon gods. Logically speaking, he should not be strong in the inheritance of the demon gods. However, they only thought about this in their hearts. After all, in this battle, Kang Xinmu had displayed terrifying combat strength. He had displayed 3 supreme divine demon skills, and they were all comprehended to the supreme sage realm. How long ago did this fellow start cultivating demonic martial techniques? As for Kang Xinmu comprehending the supreme sage realm in such a short time, they did not believe it. However, this was a supreme divine demon skill. It would be extremely difficult to comprehend and cultivate it before reaching the supreme sage realm. It might even be impossible to successfully cultivate it. And before Kang Xinmu came to the demon god race great world, he had not reached the level of a supreme demon god. This meant that Kang Xinmu might really have comprehended 3 supreme divine demon skills to the supreme sage realm in such a short time in the demon god race great world. This was a little terrifying. Unfortunately, they did not know that the supreme sage realm demonic skills that Kang Xinmu had comprehended were not just 3. There were 6. It was just that there was no need to use them all now. This kid is too terrifying. With this kid's help, the Su royal family's future is limitless. The strength of our demon god race royal family is going to change. Many people were a little worried. Chapter 55:18. The worry of the Su royal family being too powerful resurfaced in everyone's mind. Originally, when they saw Su Tianhao fail, every single one of them heaved a sigh of relief, in case Su Tianhao's luck was good and he really took first place. Those 2 sacred objects of heaven and earth raised the Su dynasty too much. But now, they realized it was no longer a matter of the 2 sacred items. Instead, they were going to face a genius, a super genius with terrifying talent in the inheritance of a 16-winged heavenly fiend god. This was much more terrifying than the 2 sacred items. A sacred item could become a part of the royal family's strength, and it could improve the royal family's battle power. But, a super genius could directly bring the royal family's strength to a whole new level. These were 2 different concepts. To the other demon god royal family members, the current Kang Xinmu seemed to have such potential. And, something even more terrifying had come. Just as everyone was discussing Kang Xinmu did something unexpected. His entire body started to surge with the power of the void, while boundless spiritual energy started to gather towards him from all around the arena. Breakthrough. He was breaking through. Everyone's eyes were filled with incredulity. How was this possible? It was not that he could not break through after a battle, or during the ranking competition. The key was, how long had Kang Xinmu been in the demon god great world? How could he break through again in such a short time? Did he think breaking through was child's play? At this moment, everyone was shocked. Even Su Yi, and the other members of the Su royal family were shocked. Wasn't this too terrifying? This Kang Xinmu actually chose to break through in the arena. How long had it been since he last broke through? Too fast. Everyone was so shocked that they couldn't say a word. Tuoba Shui, who had always been extremely arrogant, now had a gloomy expression. Even the Tuoba clan leader, Tuoba Motian, was somewhat uncertain. Originally, Tuoba Motian and Tuoba Shui were full of confidence. But now, they felt a great danger. This Kang Xinmu could defeat Tuoba Zhantian when he was at the 2nd level of the super demon god. If he were to break through to the 3rd level of the transcendent god, what would happen? Wouldn't that mean that even Tuoba Shui might not be a match for him? Of course, this was not because he had no confidence in Tuoba Shui, but because he felt threatened. He felt that Kang Xinmu might be able to compete with Tuoba Shui. Tuoba Motian didn't think that his grandson would be as weak as Tuoba Zhantian. But no matter what, Kang Xinmu still gave him the possibility of being a threat. Even if there was only a slight threat, it had to be extinguished as soon as possible. In the long run, Tuoba Matian did not know what changes Kang Xinmu could bring to the Su royal family. But he knew that he absolutely couldn't allow Kang Xinmu to become the first in the ranking competition this time. Otherwise, the Taba clan would suffer heavy losses. Stop his breakthrough. This was the method that Tuoba Devil Heaven thought of. Furthermore, this idea constantly sprouted in his heart, and he would soon put it into practice. Unfortunately, at this moment, Su Er stood up. Su Jiu also stood up. Kang Xinmu is the personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon. If everyone plans to make a move now, are you planning to offend Emperor Shi's divine dragon? Offending Emperor Shi's divine dragon is nothing. After all, no one is afraid of a mere Emperor Shi's divine dragon, but Kang Xinmu, our young friend, is here to help our demon god race. To increase the strength of our demon god race. To our entire demon god race great world, he is here with friendly intentions. Let me ask, if everyone interrupts his breakthrough now, will it affect the relationship between the demon god race and the dragon god race? If Emperor Shi's divine dragon wants to stand up for his disciple, what will the rest of the dragon god race think? They will definitely make a move together. Su Er calmly said. And when these words came out, Tuoba Matian and the rest all calmed down. That's right. This Kang Xinmu was a member of the dragon god race. He was the personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon. If an accident happened during the battle, then it was fine if their skills were inferior. But now, he was breaking through. If you went over to disturb his breakthrough and caused him to fail, what would he think? In short, whoever makes a move now will be plotting to provoke a conflict between the two great races. If the dragon god race really attacks, whoever makes a move will be the vanguard to resist the dragon god race. Su Er narrowed her eyes and said, whoever dares to take on this responsibility, feel free to make a move. When her voice fell, the entire place was silent. How would they dare? Who would dare to take on this responsibility? Even Tuoba Matian did not dare. He was really not afraid of Emperor Shi's divine dragon's hostility. He also did not think that affecting Kang Xinmu's breakthrough would cause the dragon god race to invade. But what if? What if the dragon god race went crazy and wanted to seek justice for Kang Xinmu? At that time, the Tuoba royal family would be the vanguard. He did not even need to think to know the consequences. The demon god race was one of the 24 royal families. How could they go against the entire dragon god race? Moreover, the dragon god race's sacred land was not to be trifled with. Even if the dragon god race did not come, just the 5 extreme mysterious ice sacred land would be enough. With this thought, Tuoba Matian immediately suppressed the idea of stopping Kang Xinmu's breakthrough. The reason why he did not make a move was because he had some misgivings. And Su Er's words had turned his misgivings into reality. After all, Su Er had already said this first. If he made a move, it would make the dragon god race even angrier. If the dragon god race knew about this. Are you, Tuoba Matian, looking down on the dragon god race? Failure. Tuoba Matian's expression became even gloomier. Matian, when you meet this lad, don't show mercy. If you can kill him directly. If an accident happens during the competition, he can't blame anyone. Tuoba Matian sneered. Yes. Tuoba Matian's eyes lit up. This was exactly what he wanted. It would be too boring if his hands and feet were tied on the stage. This Kang Xinmu could defeat Tuoba Zhantian with Transcendent God Stage 2 cultivation, which showed that his foundation was not bad. Now that he had broken through to Transcendent God Stage 3, Tuoba Matian felt that this lad was qualified to be his disciple. At the very least, he was stronger than Su Tianhao. Kang Xinmu's breakthrough was completed very quickly. Under everyone's gaze, he seemed to be isolated from the outside world, wholeheartedly focusing on his breakthrough. Not long after, his entire aura suddenly changed. Super Demon God Stage 3. He opened his eyes. He was very clear that no one could make a move against him now that he had broken through. Otherwise, it would incite a conflict between the two races. Because of this, he was at ease to break through now. And after the breakthrough, his strength was even stronger than before. Just the foundation of the demon god race alone was more than twice as strong as before. Moreover, it was more compatible with the 16-winged combat cultivation law. Logically speaking, the 16-winged combat cultivation law could only be comprehended by a supreme being. But he had comprehended it now. Chapter 55:19. Kang Xinmu had comprehended the 16-winged combat cultivation law because he had devoured the main body of the demon god ancestor. This allowed him to directly obtain the strongest comprehension of the 16-winged combat cultivation law. However, his current demon god body could not withstand its full power. Therefore, at the super demon god stage, he could only use a portion of the 16-winged combat cultivation law's power. At the first level of the transcendent god, he could use about 10% of it. At the second level of the transcendent god, he could use 20% of it. And now, Kang Xinmu had broken through to the third level of the transcendent god and could use 30% of it. This was improvement. Not only did his basic strength increase, but he could also use the 16-winged combat cultivation law's power to increase his strength even more. Soon, Kang Xinmu completed his breakthrough and returned to the Su royal family seats. The ranking competition between the royal family of the demon god race naturally continued. Suddenly, an unexpected figure came to the side of the Su dynasty's seats. Li Tian clan, Li Tian Xiong. This was a burly man who looked relatively young. There were a few strands of stripes on his cheeks that looked like tiger stripes. Junior Li Tian Xiong greets the two seniors. He ran over and directly bowed to Su Er and Su Jiu. Are you here to look for Kang Xinmu? Su Shen did not even ask. He raised his eyebrows. What's the matter? The Su royal family had never been on bad terms with the Li Tian clan. After all, their territories were relatively far apart and there had not been many conflicts between them. Hee, it's not a big deal. Li Tian Xiong touched the back of his head, looking somewhat naive. I just have something to ask Brother Kang Xinmu. I have a younger sister who is now of marriageable age. If Brother Jiang is willing, pooh. When Li Tian Xiong said this, the surrounding people immediately burst into laughter. Li Tian Xiong's younger sister? Wasn't that also a burly existence? It was somewhat impolite to burst into laughter like this, but they could not help it. This Kang Xinmu was too fierce. You have to ask him, Su Er said lightly. He did not laugh. However, he did not laugh. As the clan leader, he still had this bit of patience. Moreover, this matter had nothing to do with him. Of course, if Kang Xinmu really marries Li Tianxiong's sister, then the Su clan, he believed that Kang Xinmu would not make such a choice. Moreover, Li Tianxiong couldn't have really come to propose for his sister. This was just a signal. This signal was. Li Tian clan did not want to be enemies with Kang Xinmu. Sorry, I already have someone I like. Kang Xinmu stood up and cupped his fists towards the power sky bear. He tilted his head and looked down at Su Yi, who was beside him, and smiled. Is that so? That's too bad. Li Tian Xiong laughed, obviously not angry, but we can still be brothers. Brother Jiang, feel free to visit our Li Tian family when you're free. We'll treat you like a brother. In the Li Tian clan, the word brother was often used. It was what people on their side meant. Kang Xinmu didn't quite understand, but he could tell that Li Tianxiong didn't see him as an enemy. "Alright, I'll definitely go if I have the chance." Kang Xinmu said a few more words, and Li Tianxiong left. This Li Tian clan. When Kang Xinmu first came up, they were still mocking him. I didn't think they'd come to express goodwill. On the Su clan side, someone laughed in disdain. That's the specialty of the Li Tian clan. Su Zhiyu smiled faintly. They are more straightforward in their dealings. If they look down on someone, they'll say it out loud. As for who they like, they'll say it out loud. Kang Xinmu liked this kind of personality. But some people didn't. Now that Li Tianxiong came to Kang Xinmu's side to express goodwill, the Tuoba clan was displeased. But they couldn't do anything about it. If the Li Tian clan was a small royal clan, they'd probably be suppressed by the Tuoba clan. The ranking competition continued. Su Yi and Su Ye's opponents weren't very strong. Their combat power was rather strong. Even if their opponents were Transcendent God Stage 4, they could still fight them head-on. This once again shocked all the experts of the Demon God clan's royal family. Clearly, the Su clan's participation in this competition had revealed something. They'd grasped a stronger power of inheritance. It was evident from Kang Xinmu, Su Yi, and Su Yi. And Su Tianhao didn't show it before because he hadn't grasped this new power of inheritance, which was the 14-winged battle cultivation law. No wonder the second group had such a huge advantage in the first round. It's Kang Xinmu, Su Yi, and Su Yi. They gave the entire team a huge boost. The Su clan's last trump card is actually Kang Xinmu. It's a little hard to believe. Everyone clicked their tongues in wonder. And Su Tianhao's expression was even uglier now. He didn't expect this. He really didn't expect that. He'd originally thought he was the main force. In the end, he was just a foil, and even an abandoned foil. He believed that if Su Yu and Su Zhiyu were willing to pay some resources, they would definitely be able to get the other royal clans to vote together and give him the right to challenge. But they didn't. It's all because of Kang Xinmu. Su Tianhao clenched his fists. He thought that if there was no Kang Xinmu, Su Yu and Su Zhiyu would definitely do their best to protect him, right? But he didn't think about it. If there was no Kang Xinmu, why would Su Zhiyu agree to the Tuoba clan's bet? Clearly, Su Zhiyu didn't think much of Su Tianhao. It was only because she believed in Kang Xinmu that she agreed to the Tuoba clan's bet. Very good, Su Gui also won. Our clan's total score has increased again. With Su Gui's victory, a total of 14 people from the Su clan advanced to the third round. This was also in line with the previous ranking competitions. The overall strength of the Su clan was still relatively strong. Although Su Tianhao unexpectedly lost to the Ice Moon Silk, no matter what, as long as the others weren't too unlucky, they wouldn't encounter two strong opponents. After all, there were so many people drawing lots, and there were only a few strong people. Speaking of which, among the opponents the Su clan met, Kang Xinmu's opponent, Tuoba Zhantian, was the strongest, but he was still defeated by Kang Xinmu. The third round quickly began to draw lots. Both the Tuoba clan and the Li Tian clan advanced 13 people. The Ice Moon Silk also advanced. The other royal clans had 7 or 8 people in the middle level advance, and the weaker ones had 2 or 3 people advance. After all, every clan and royal family had to nurture a few experts of the younger generation. Chapter 55-20. Soon, the results of the third round were out. Kang Xinmu's opponent was a level 4 super demon god from the Bing royal family. She seemed to be Bing Yueying, the younger sister of Bing Yueying. She was also very talented. According to the demon god ancestor, she could unleash at least 90% of the 0-degree demon god's power. Unfortunately, her talent was overshadowed by her sister, Bing Yueying, causing her to not be very outstanding. some were unknown. But Bing Yueying didn't seem to hate her sister. After all, in the Bing royal family's current environment, the two sisters had a common goal: to make the Bing royal family flourish. Why would they want to fight among themselves? Bing Yueying against Kong Xinmu. I'm afraid there's no hope. But we can try to get Bing Yueying the right to challenge. The Bing royal family began to discuss. Everyone, don't jump to conclusions. Bing Yueying squinted her eyes and said, I know Yueying's strength very well. Other than not reaching level 5, her talent in other areas is comparable to mine. She might not lose against Kong Xinmu. She knew her sister's strength very well. So, she had confidence in her sister. Although Kong Xinmu was very strong, she believed her sister could handle him. However, Jiang Shenwu only displayed the power of a transcendent god stage 2. And now, Kong Xinmu is already at level 3. Many people in the Bing royal family thought like that, but they didn't say it. At a time like this, they couldn't hurt their own morale. Everything could wait until the battle was over. The entire Bing royal family was quite united. After all, among the 24 royal families, the Bing royal family could be said to be at the bottom. Not only did they not have many peak experts, but they also had very few people. If they couldn't rise in the future, the 24 imperial clans would become 23 imperial clans. So, they had to be united. It's over. Just then, Su Jiyu announced that in the third round, Su Yi would fight against Tuoba Shui. This caused the expressions of the Su royal family to turn ugly. With Tuoba Shui's strength, he was definitely a popular candidate for the championship. Although Su Yi was not weak, his true strength was definitely not stronger than Tuoba Shi. He might even be slightly weaker than Tuoba Zhantian. Against Tuoba Shi, it was basically a crushing defeat. Moreover, under the current circumstances, she might very well be humiliated. But if they lost without fighting, it would make the Su dynasty feel even more humiliated. This lot drawing is really easy. Su bitterly smiled. Su Jiyu curled her lips and said, I can't help it. This was purely a matter of luck. Su Yi, you must be careful later. No one persuaded Su Yi to admit defeat. Because on a stage like this, it was impossible to admit defeat before the fight even started. Su Yi was speechless. He did not expect that he would be fighting against the strongest Tuoba Su. Su Yi, come here. At this moment, Jiang Shenwu called out to Su Yi and whispered something into her ear. This sentence was about the chaotic heavenly fire demon god of the Tuoba royal family. It had a specific weakness. This was what the demon god ancestor told Kong Xinmu. And now, Kong Xinmu told Su Yi. Knowing this, Su Yi might not be able to defeat Tuoba Shui, but at least he could block Tuoba Shui's attack and not be humiliated. Although Su Ye's cultivation was much lower than Tuoba Shui's, Kong Xinmu felt that this battle would be very exciting. The weakness of the chaotic heavenly fire demon god had never been known. And this time, it would be exposed. Of course, even if he knew the weakness of the chaotic heavenly fire demon god, it would be difficult to defeat the Tuoba royal family's expert. At most, it would strengthen his defense a little. But this could still narrow the gap between him and his opponent. Su royal family. The highlight of this round was on Kong Xinmu and Su Yi. Kong Xinmu vs Bing Yueying. Bing Yueying was slightly weaker than Bing Yueying, so everyone was thinking that Kong Xinmu would not lose to Bing Yueying. But he should not be too much stronger. After all, in everyone's opinion, although Kong Xinmu had defeated Tuoba Zhantian, his strength had not reached the pinnacle level. One must know that Tuoba Zhantian was only ranked 5th among the Tuoba clan's younger generation experts. Defeating Tuoba Zhantian was not too strong. Bing Yueying was only at the 4th level of the Transcendent God realm, but she could grasp a lot of the 0-degree demonic god's inheritance power, so her battle strength would not be too weak. First, there were 2 matches between the other royal families. Then, it was Kong Xinmu versus Bing Yueying's turn. Kong Xinmu went up the stage. The body of the 16-winged heavenly fiend celestial landed. In the arena, demonic energy rampaged, and pitch-black whistled. Bing Yueying's expression was solemn. She was tall and slender, just like her sister, Bing Yueying. But obviously, in terms of the 0-degree demonic god's inheritance power, she was slightly weaker than Bing Yueying. However, this made Kong Xinmu pay attention to this lady's strength, so he did not let his guard down. Su Tianhao was defeated by Bing Yueying because of his carelessness, and he did not even get the right to challenge. Kong Xinmu, I want to win. Bing Yueying said seriously. It's a pity, I don't want to lose either. Kong Xinmu said seriously. Let's fight. Bing Yueying nodded her head firmly, and instantly turned into a giant ice demon. Her entire body was covered in ice and snow, and the entire arena seemed to have fallen into a world of ice and snow. Facing Kong Xinmu, she chose to take the initiative to attack. Mixed element extreme ice chains. Her gigantic ice mountain demon god body was surrounded by the power of ice and snow, which then condensed into terrifying chains of ice that swept out from the void. Mixed element extreme ice chains, a total of 888 chains, shrouded the sky and earth. Ice scattered, and the temperature of the arena plummeted, as if everything was going to be frozen into ice sculptures. In the void, the chaotic extreme ice chains swept towards Jiang Shenwu's 16-winged sky demon god body from all directions at high speed. Boundless ice energy came crashing down, and in an instant, it trapped Kong Xinmu's demon body. Extreme cold energy, riot. All the power in Bing Yueying's body erupted. She even used the power of her transcendent demonic weapon. With the support of the offensive battle patterns, the power of extreme frost in her body was instantly transferred to Jiang Shenwu's 16-winged heavenly fiend celestial body through the chaotic extreme ice chains. The entire arena was filled with ice, and a storm was brewing. The mixed element extreme ice chains that were entangling Kong Xinmu's demon body were completely shattered, and boundless ice energy exploded. The shattered ice energy even seeped into the void, and corroded the body of Kong Xinmu's demon body. Profound of the heavenly demon god, abyss of the heavenly demon god's wings. Kong Xinmu, facing the opponent's attack, finally used his defensive demon martial technique. Chapter 55-21. Abyss of Demonic Wings. It was the defensive demonic martial technique that Kong Xinmu cultivated. At that moment it erupted with boundless and terrifying void power, devouring the power of the mixed element extreme ice chains. Previously, when fighting against Taba Zhantian, Kong Xinmu had already used this move. Now that he used it again, the void power erupted from the 16 demonic wings and instantly crushed Bing Yueying's mixed element extreme ice chains. I have already broken through to the Transcendent God Stage 3. My basic strength is already twice as strong as before. A mere Transcendent God Stage 4 opponent can no longer threaten me. Kong Xinmu was very certain of this. Bing Yueying's strength was not weak, but it was at most similar to Taba Zhantian. Before he broke through, he could already defeat Taba Zhantian. Now that he had broken through to the next stage, he was an existence that could crush Taba Zhantian. Demonic Wings Tornado, explode. The 16 wings behind Kong Xinmu whistled, bringing with them surging demonic aura tornadoes. The demonic aura that filled the sky gathered into several tornadoes, suppressing the cold aura in the arena. Extreme Frost Nation. Boundless cold aura surged out of Bing Yueying's demonic body. Frost cracks appeared in the surrounding void. Facing Kong Xinmu's demonic wings tornado, Bing Yueying gritted her teeth and resisted. The frost crumbled as she tried to freeze the demonic aura tornadoes that filled the sky. However, Kong Xinmu's strength was too strong. Even though Bing Yueying had already erupted with her strongest battle power, she still could not resist the waves of demonic wings tornado. The 16 wings that formed the demonic wings tornado crushed all the frost along the way, finally suppressing Bing Yueying's demonic body. Being enveloped by the boundless pressure, Bing Yueying gritted her teeth and tried to hold on, but she could not hold on any longer. Just one move. Jiang Shenwu's demonic wing tornado was enough to make her completely unable to withstand it. In the end, she could only admit defeat and admit defeat. I admit defeat. Feeling the terrifying pressure, Bing Yueying knew that she could only admit defeat. She was somewhat unwilling. Why did he meet such an opponent? She was actually forced to admit defeat in the third round. She was only at the 4th level of the Transcendent God. Even if she had the right to challenge, it would be very difficult for her to succeed in the end. Therefore, her ranking basically ended here. Damn it. I originally planned to bring glory to the clan, but I didn't expect. Bing Yueying could only leave the stage regretfully. Kang Xinmu returned victorious. The result of this battle was within the expectations of most people. After all, Kang Xinmu's combat strength was too strong, completely exceeding his cultivation by 2 levels. As for Bing Yueying, she could be considered to be rather strong within the Bing Imperial clan. In fact, she had always been second only to the Bing Yueying Silk. He was seen as the second trump card of the Bing tribe's rise. Unfortunately, maybe it was because Bing Yueying was too young. If she was 2 years older, she would be able to soar into the sky in this year's ranking competition. However, Bing Yueying isn't that old. She can still participate in the next ranking competition. When the next ranking competition comes, I'm afraid it will be Bing Yueying's time to reign supreme. Everyone sighed with emotion. Bing Yueying was one of the youngest amongst the experts participating in the ranking competition. Of course, Suyi and Suyi weren't that old either. They could also participate in the next ranking competition. But in comparison, Bing Yueying was stronger than the 2 girls. No matter what, Kang Xinmu was more concerned about the following battle. Suyi against Tuoba Shui. Countless people wanted to see this battle. They were extremely curious. What method would Tuoba Shui use to humiliate Suyi? Suyi was a beauty of the Su royal family. Once she was humiliated by an expert of the Tuoba family, she would lose face. But, the Su royal family couldn't avoid the battle. That would be even more embarrassing. Of course, most of them were thinking that this battle should end when the time was right. Let's see how Tuoba Shui would humiliate Suyi before she admitted defeat. This was a little difficult. After a few battles, it was finally Su Ye's turn to fight. Sister Suyi, you can do it. Su Yi cheered for Suyi. Suyi nodded. She was extremely beautiful and her expression was solemn. She was originally very nervous. After all, she knew very well what kind of person Tuoba Shui was. But she didn't expect that Kang Xinmu would give her a way to deal with it. She wasn't sure if this method would work. But it was her last resort. If she wanted to last long enough on the stage and then admit defeat, she could only rely on the method that Kang Xinmu mentioned. Tuoba royal family. In their seats. Tuoba Shui stood up. His tall and sturdy body, coupled with his cold expression, made him seem a bit frightening, and the hint of a sneer in his eyes let others know that he would not easily let go of the chance to humiliate the Su dynasty. A mere super demonic god level 2. This time, I'll let the Su royal family have a good time. Tuoba Shui had waited for this moment for a long time. In this ranking competition, he gambled 2 of the royal family's heaven and earth sacred treasures in order to obtain the Su royal family's women. And now, he could directly humiliate Suyi on the stage. Brother Shui, this match is up to you. Let the Su royal family have a good look at our strength. That's right, let this girl understand the manliness of our Tuoba family men. In the Tuoba royal family, everyone laughed loudly, without the slightest worry. They couldn't be clearer about Tuoba Shue's strength. He definitely wouldn't lose to Suyi. This girl was only super god level 2. Compared to Tuoba Shue, the difference was too great. She was simply not Tuoba Shue's opponent. What everyone was more concerned about was, how many moves could Suyi withstand under Tuoba Shue's hands? If she couldn't even withstand one move, would she directly admit defeat? If that was the case, it wouldn't be fun. Don't worry, I have a way to prevent her from admitting defeat. Tuoba Shue coldly laughed out loud. He had a special method that could prevent Suyi from admitting defeat. That was, to make her shut her mouth. He cultivated a special demonic martial technique that could make people shut their mouths. At certain times, it had a miraculous effect. Now, it finally came in handy. If Suyi couldn't open her mouth to admit defeat, wouldn't that mean that she would be at his mercy? He could even touch her from head to toe in front of everyone. Both sides enter the arena. Following the declaration of a demon god clan elder, Tuoba Shue and Suyi stood up and stepped into the arena. Tuoba Shue looked at Suyi as though he was looking at a sheep that had no ability to resist. Suyi didn't seem to be afraid. She stood gracefully in the arena and looked at Tuoba Shue, as though thinking about how to deal with this situation. In reality, she had already thought of this. Chapter 55-22. In the arena, Tuoba Shue suddenly exploded and transformed into a chaotic heavenly fire demon god. Endless earth fire burst out from his feet. It turned into a pool of magma and condensed into fire snakes that swept towards Suyi. Seeing this, Suyi directly transformed into a 16-winged heavenly demon god. Black demonic aura bloomed from his wings and turned into a layer of black demonic shield. Heavenly Demon Divine Wing Shield. A layer of Heavenly Demon Divine Wing Shield flashed with black demonic aura and blocked Tuoba Shue's fire snakes. Suddenly, it exploded. The fire gods exploded like magma, and countless flames collapsed and scattered in all directions. But the Heavenly Demon Divine Wing Shield actually blocked the opponent's attack. I haven't used my demonic martial technique yet. Tuoba Shue sneered. He didn't even use his demonic martial technique, and just casually released a pool of magma fire snakes, which made Suyi so nervous. Then, he took a step forward, and endless demonic aura flames erupted from the surroundings, even burning the surrounding void, forbidden bones smelting domain. A terrifying power erupted from his chaotic heavenly fire demon god body. Following that, the boundless flames devoured the surrounding space and incinerated the sound waves that were being emitted. Even sound was burned. Under this terrifying supreme divine demon martial technique, no sound could be transmitted to the outside world. In other words, even if Suyi wanted to admit defeat now, it would be very difficult to do so. She could only let Tuoba Shue humiliate her. Oh no! Su Jiu and Suer's expressions changed slightly. If they did not stop this from happening, what was about to happen would probably be unforgettable for Su Yi for the rest of her life. It would become a nightmare in her heart, but... Kang Xinmu suddenly stood up and said, "Believe in her, she can do it." He looked at the arena and saw that Su Yi was not flustered, but remembered a technique that he had told her. That technique could completely restrain Tuoba Shue. Even if it could not defeat Tuoba Shue, it was more than enough to resist Tuoba Shue's attack. The supreme divine demon martial technique, forbidden bone smelting domain, could not last forever. When its effect disappeared, Suyi could calmly choose to admit defeat. Can she really do it? Suer was a little doubtful. He was very worried about Suyi. Su Jiu glanced at the scene and nodded, saying, "That child is not panicking. It seems that he has some countermeasures. Let's wait and see." Suer could only sit down. He looked at the scene nervously, Suyi did not panic when faced with the transcendent divine demonic martial technique, melting bones forbidden sound domain. She calmly recalled what Kang Shinmu had told her before. Although the chaotic Skyfire Fian Celestial's attacks were violent, it had a significant weakness. That was, the source of its power of inheritance came from the ground. If they left the ground, the might of the Chaos Heavenly Fire Fian Celestial's various fiendish martial techniques would be reduced by at least half. This was also the reason why the Tuoba clan rarely left the demon god Great World to venture outside. If they were to fight in the void, the chaotic Skyfire Fian Celestial's might would not be able to be unleashed perfectly. Although they are called the chaotic Skyfire Fian Celestial, in reality, the source of the demon god race's inheritance is really just an Earth Fire Fiend Celestial. The Fiend Celestial ancestor knew this Earth Fire Fiend Celestial long ago. Although it is very strong, as long as we find a way to get it to leave the ground, it will be much weaker. In that case, how could they get Tuoba Shui to leave the ground? Suyi also had a lot of ideas. When the terrifying melting bones forbidden sound domain appeared, Suyi directly unleashed all his strength. He had mastered the 14-wing combat cultivation law, and a violent, pitch-black demonic aura burst out. Demonic Wings Tornado. She had also cultivated this transcendent divine demonic martial technique. Endless demonic aura formed a hurricane that swept towards Tuoba Shui's feet. Tuoba Shui's face darkened, as if he had discovered something. You want to attack me with a mere demonic wings tornado? Tuoba Shui snorted coldly. He lifted his leg and a stream of lava sprang up from under his feet, condensing into a terrifying pillar of fire that rushed towards the demonic wings tornado, instantly destroying the demonic aura hurricane. But Su Ye's attack target was not him. It was beneath his feet. Furthermore, he didn't want to rely on the demonic wings tornado, but the demonic god's wings abyss. This defensive transcendent divine demonic martial technique was used by Kang Shinmu to defend himself. He created void abysses to devour all the energy that attacked him. However, Suyi was different. She created void abysses, and under the cover of the demonic wings tornado, she headed straight for Tuoba Shui's feet. These void abysses immediately erupted and separated Tuoba Shui from the entire ground. Tuoba Shui's primal chaos heavenly fire demon god body felt as if it had been smacked in the head. It immediately lost its connection with the ground. Furthermore, Su Ye's demonic wings abyss had an extremely wide range. In an instant, it covered the entire wrestling ring and separated the entire ground. The void abysses bloomed with pitch-black and serene colors, causing Tuoba Shui to be a little dumbfounded. What was going on? Suyi actually used the void abysses to separate his connection with the ground. Such a method was almost unheard of. However, Tuoba Motian's face sank. This old man obviously knew the weakness of his Tuoba royal family's inheritance. However, he never expected that this weakness seemed to be grasped by an outsider. As it was called the primal chaos heavenly fire demon god, no one would have thought that their Tuoba royal family's inheritance would have such a close relationship with the ground. How did this girl named Suyi know about it? Was it a coincidence? Or was it someone who told her? Tuoba Motian was shocked. As for Tuoba Shui, he felt his strength weakening, but he wasn't too worried. His face only sank. This bit of weakening wouldn't cause him to lose. However, if he wanted to deal with Suyi, it wouldn't be so easy. Exploding fire lava mountain. Tuoba Shui suddenly charged over. His entire body was burning with scarlet flames. It condensed into an erupting volcano in mid-air and attacked Suyi. The power of this attack was extremely overbearing. It was even like a small sun that exploded in an instant, emitting boundless heat. The entire mountain was burned to nothingness, turning into the purest molten flames that fell towards Suyi. Dodge! Suyi felt the immense power contained in this exploding fire lava mountain. The black devil wings behind her flapped and instantly tore through the void. She flashed to the other side of the wrestling ring. However, just as she dodged Tuoba Shue's attack, Tuoba Shue's terrifying power landed at her previous location. Chapter 55-23. Tuoba Shui condensed all his power into an exploding lava mountain and smashed it down. The place where Su Yi was originally standing was the weakest part of the void abyss. Hence, when the exploding lava mountain smashed down, it shattered the void abyss on the spot. The frightening power exploded in an instant, as if a volcano had completely collapsed. Endless lava poured into every corner of the arena. Tuoba Shue's chaotic heavenly fire demon god landed on the ground of the arena, once again becoming one with the earth. Using the void abyss to isolate me? I'm thinking too much. Tuoba Shui was like a demonic martial god. His entire body was filled with the power of lava. Flames billowed from his body, and the blazing heat could melt the entire arena. Su Yi silently watched all of this. Tuoba Shui was indeed Tuoba Shui. He had actually destroyed her heavenly demon wings abyss with one move. It seemed that she still had to use the method that Kang Xinmu had suggested, create an alternate dimension. As Su Ye's heavenly demon wings fluttered, her pitch-black demon god body seemed to be enveloped by waves of void energy. Terrifying power rose and fell, condensing into an empty space in front of her. This space of nothingness was a door to a different space. She had a rather deep understanding of the spatial attribute void energy. She casually sketched out a door to an alternate dimension. Then, she stepped into it. Her fiend celestial body disappeared right in front of her eyes, entering the alternate dimension. This scene caused the expressions of many in the arena to change. What did Su Yi mean by this? Did she want Tuoba Shui to enter the alternate dimension to fight her? But there was no point in that. Moreover, the alternate dimension was not stable. If the power of both sides was too strong, it was very likely that the alternate dimension would collapse. Moreover, in the alternate dimension, it was impossible for the outside world to know what was happening. If she encountered danger, no one could save her. In the arena, if Tuoba Shui wanted to kill Su Yi, it was absolutely impossible. After all, the experts of the major clans and royalty were all present. How could they let someone kill her in public? But in the alternate dimension, it was hard to say. Humph. Upon seeing this, Tuoba Shue's eyes flickered with disdain. His original intention was to humiliate Su Yi in the arena in front of everyone. However, it seemed that Su Yi had already thought of a way to deal with him. You want to isolate my connection with the earth in a different dimension? You think too much. In the alternate dimension, there are some methods that I can use without any scruples. It'll be easier for me to hold you in my palm. He could try to shatter the entire alternate dimension, but that would take a lot of time. In his opinion, if he were to spend too much time on Su Yi, then it wouldn't be worth it. It would be fine if he could humiliate Su Yi, but the key was that Su Yi was hiding in a different dimension, so he couldn't humiliate him even if he wanted to. Therefore, they had to chase Su Yi out of the alternate dimension as soon as possible. If he wanted to destroy the alternate dimension, the fastest way was to do it from the inside. Therefore, Tuoba Shi had to enter the alternate dimension. His fiend celestial body brought with it a wave of fluttering flames. Like an erupting volcano, he charged towards the alternate dimension. Suddenly, he crashed into the strange space. No one knew how the situation would develop in the alternate dimension. Among all the spectators, only experts at Suer's level could detect the situation in the alternate dimension. Even so, if something really happened in there, it would be difficult for them to intervene. They were too strong. Once they intervened, it was very likely that the alternate dimension would collapse prematurely, putting both of them in danger. Finally, after the time it took for a joss stick to burn, the alternate dimension collapsed. Terrifying power burst forth and bloomed in all directions. Su Ye's 16-winged heavenly fiend celestial body hurriedly retreated from the alternate dimension and stomped on the ground of the arena. Pitch-black demonic chi instantly exploded, forming an air current that spread throughout the arena and stopped the retreating momentum. As for Tuoba Shi, it seemed that he was unable to take down Su Yi. His chaotic heavenly fire fiend celestial body was like a meteorite falling from the sky. His entire body was surrounded by flames as he flew out from the alternate dimension and landed with a loud bang. Both sides are safe and sound. Everyone was stunned by this outcome. That Su Yi was actually so strong? It was too unbelievable. Originally, everyone had thought that this would be a one-sided battle. They were only curious as to how much humiliation Su Yi would suffer. But now, both sides had probably exchanged dozens of blows, but Su Yi was completely unscathed. He was not injured at all. It could be seen that both sides' combat strength in the alternate dimension could be said to be evenly matched. In that alternate dimension, Tuoba Shi wanted to break the alternate dimension, so he used most of his power to break the alternate dimension. So with his remaining power, it's normal that he can't win against Su Yi. But now, it seems that Su Yi can admit defeat. Everyone realized the crux of the situation. Just as everyone had said, after Su Yi came out, she straightened her body and said in a low voice, "I admit defeat." She admitted defeat. She found an opportunity to admit defeat, and only after fighting with Tuoba Shi for a long time did she calmly admit defeat. She did not show any signs of weakness at all. Everyone knew that Tuoba Shi might not have used his full strength. He might not even have used his transcendent demon weapon. But Su Yi was only at transcendent god level 2. And he, Tuoba Shi, was at transcendent god level 5, and one of the most popular experts in this ranking competition. He actually could not crush Su Yi. This was truly shocking. And after Su Yi admitted defeat, she retreated to the Su royal family's seating area. On the Su royal family side, many of the younger generation could not believe that Su Yi had the strength to fight against Tuoba Shi for so long. Although Su Yi would definitely lose if they continued fighting, it would not be an ugly defeat. At least it was much better than Tuoba Zhantian of the Tuoba family. Tuoba Zhantian had been crushed by Kang Shinmu in a few moves in the arena. Even the transcendent god weapon had been completely suppressed, unable to break through Kang Shinmu's blockade. And now, Su Yi had actually blocked Tuoba Shue's attack, preventing Tuoba Shue from humiliating her. This scene was completely out of everyone's expectations. Sister Su Yi, that was amazing. Su Yi stood up to welcome Su Ye's return. Without a doubt, this was a victory. Although Su Yi had admitted defeat to Tuoba Shi, this was already a defeat. And Tuoba Shi's defeat was naturally the Su royal family's victory. In terms of points, the Tuoba family had gone up another level. Chapter 55-24. No one expected that this battle, which was supposed to be Tuoba Shi's performance, would end up like this. One had to know that winning this battle was not Tuoba Shi's goal. There was no way he would lose to Su Yi, a transcendent god stage 2 girl. However, why did he lose so miserably? With a gloomy face, Ba Ku left the arena and returned to the seat of the Taba clan. He did not expect Su Yi to be able to target his characteristics and move the battle to the alternate dimension. If it was in the alternate dimension, he could easily defeat Su Yi, but that would be meaningless. He wanted to break through the alternate dimension and return to the arena to decide the victor and humiliate Su Yi at the same time. However, what he did not expect was, in the alternate dimension, his connection with the earth became very weak and he could only use less than 80% of his usual strength. Moreover, he needed to spend most of his energy to attack the alternate dimension in order to break it. This allowed Su Yi to harass him with all her might. To Su Yi, she only needed to stall for enough time. At that time, she would be able to admit defeat. Of course, she did not think that she could defeat Tuoba Shi. Even if Tuoba Shi's strength was weakened in this alternate dimension, it could not be weakened by that much. Under normal circumstances, she would not even be able to take a single blow from Tuoba Shi. Now, she could use this opportunity to harass Tuoba Shi and stall for time. This was the method that Kang Xinmu had told her. She would try to get Tuoba Shi to enter the alternate dimension she had created. When Tuoba Shi broke the alternate dimension, it would be time for her to admit defeat. Without a doubt, Kang Xinmu's method was correct. Apart from this, there was no other way for Su Yi to admit defeat without a scratch. The power of the forbidden bone-smelting domain engulfed and annihilated all sound. Even Su Er and the others would not be able to hear Su Yi admit defeat. However, after staying in the alternate dimension for a long time, the forbidden bone-smelting domain had not been rebuilt. Su Yi had enough time to admit defeat. Just like that, the outcome of this battle was decided. As for Su Yi, she was defeated in this battle. Her opponent was a transcendent God Stage 5 expert from the Li Tian clan. Although Su Yi was very strong and could erupt with all 14 wings combat cultivation laws, to be honest, her battle prowess lacked a certain sharpness. When fighting against the Li Tian clan's experts, Su Yi could only defend passively. Soon, his defense was broken and he was forced to admit defeat. Fortunately, the Li Tian clan had expressed their goodwill towards Kang Xinmu, so they wouldn't make things difficult for Su Yi. They were even careful not to harm her. Kang Xinmu naturally kept this in mind. Next, Su Yi and Su Ye's journey ended. In the entire Su royal family, including Kang Xinmu, Su Gui, and the others, there were 9 people left. In a normal ranking competition, there were not many people left after the second and fourth round. In the end, there were only 64 people left. Of the 64 people, 9 were from the Su royal family. 8 from the Taba clan. 9 from the Li Tian clan. There was also another person from the Bing imperial clan, the Frozen Moon Silk. At this point, other than the Frozen Moon Silk, the rest of the Bing imperial clan were all defeated and eliminated. Although Bing Yueying was liked by many clans and obtained the additional right to challenge, there was no doubt that the Bing imperial clan's hope was basically on the Frozen Moon Silk. Now that the Bing imperial clan finally produced 2 geniuses, many clans and royalty naturally wanted to befriend them, especially since the Frozen Moon Silk was one of the 4 great beauties of the young generation. There would definitely be people willing to give her face and give Bing Yueying the additional right to challenge. As for whether the additional right to challenge was useful, that was another matter. Seeing this scene, Su Tianhao was green with envy. Unfortunately, he wasn't a beauty. Moreover, even if he was a woman, due to his identity as a member of the Su royal family, there probably wouldn't be that many people who would give him the additional right to challenge. The Su royal family, Taba clan, and Li Tian royal family, these 3 royal families took up a small half of the remaining 64 people. The 3 royal families' strength could be seen from this. However, at this point, those who were still present were basically existences at the Super Demon God level 5. Only Kang Xinmu and 2 other geniuses at the Super God level 4 were still present. Without a doubt, no one dared to look down on Kang Xinmu. Right now, Kang Xinmu's fighting strength was already acknowledged by everyone. Everyone wanted to know his following performance. How far could he go? Could he lead the Su royal family to obtain first place in this ranking competition? Up until now, the Taba royal family's performance was a bit unsatisfactory. It wasn't quite the same as what they expected. Not only was Taba Zhantian unexpectedly eliminated by Kang Xinmu's strength, even Taba Shui couldn't defeat Su Yi cleanly, let alone humiliate her. These were all accidents. They were all mistakes. For the Taba royal family, it was extremely disadvantageous. However, this doesn't matter. Right now, the Su royal family's biggest pillar is that Kang Xinmu. As long as Kong Shinmu is defeated, the Su royal family is nothing to be afraid of. Taba Shui could already tell that the Su royal family's main force was Kong Shinmu. The fourth round's lot drawing was done very quickly. Taba Tianyu, your opponent is Kong Shinmu. Taba Shui quickly said with some excitement. Taba Tianyu was the Taba clan's number 2 in this competition. His strength was second only to Taba Shui. This person was extremely strong. In terms of talent, he even surpassed Taba Shui. Especially in the cultivation of super god demon martial skills, his comprehension was extremely strong. If not for Taba Shui's good birth, the strongest youth in this generation of the Taba royal family would very likely be Taba Tianyu. This was a young man with sword-like eyebrows. He wore a fiery red robe. Taba Tianyu, he had a cold personality and did not pursue fame or fortune. He only valued strength and opponents. Very good. Kong Shinmu is very strong. I want to personally defeat him. Only then can I prove my strength. Taba Tianyu said with a cold smile. He looked at Kong Shinmu from afar. Kong Shinmu's image was reflected in his eyes. His expression was rather provocative. And at this moment, Kong Shinmu also knew that his opponent was Taba Tianyu. He was naturally not familiar with this person. But as long as it was someone from the Taba clan, to Kong Shinmu, they were not too strong an opponent. Even if it was Taba Shui, the current Kong Shinmu was not worried. After all, his current strength far surpassed ordinary people. The existence of the formless weapon Chen Xing allowed him to explode with top-notch strength in the demon god clan's inheritance. Moreover, he had not even used his devouring power. Once he used his devouring power, there was no one present who could be his opponent. The fourth round began. Chapter 55-25. Tuoba Tianyu was ranked second among the younger generation of the Tuoba royal family participating in the ranking tournament. His strength was second only to Taba Shui among the younger generation of the Taba clan. His expression was cold as he flashed into the arena. As he watched Kong Shinmu slowly fly in, his eyes revealed a strong desire to fight. He would definitely win against this person. As for Kong Shinmu, he flew into the arena and observed Taba Tianyu. This person's aura is strong and not weaker than Taba Shui. However, he is not as good as Taba Shui in terms of supreme demon weapon. Taba Shui's supreme demon weapon was a top-notch supreme demon weapon. Although it was not as good as Kong Shinmu's formless weapon, Taba Shui's supreme demon weapon was already the best in the Taba clan. It should be pointed out that Kong Shinmu's formless weapon, Chen Xing, was the only one in the entire Dragon God's world. To compare it with the formless weapon, the supreme demon weapon had not even been created yet. Of course, a demon weapon was only one aspect of a person's strength. Even if Taba Tianyu's supreme demon weapon was not top-notch, it was not far from it. Otherwise, he would not have become the second strongest among the younger generation of the Taba clan. Kong Shinmu, I hope you will not disappoint me. Taba Tianyu snorted coldly. You too. Kong Shinmu did not bother to say more. He transformed into a 16-winged heavenly demon god. Waves of pitch-black demonic aura began to spread throughout the arena. With the appearance of his demon god body, the arena seemed to have become a demon god's residence. Dai, chaotic spiritual cultivation field. Taba Tianyu transformed into a chaotic heavenly fire demon god. His entire demon god body rumbled forward. He actually had an extremely strong physical body. Endless crimson flames bloomed from his body. Along with his fist, he punched at Kong Shinmu. A chaotic spiritual cultivation field was formed with this punch. Endless fiery red demon god power enveloped Kong Shinmu like purgatory. Come on. Let's see if my spirit refinement domain can break through your heavenly demon wings abyss. Tuoba Tianyu's entire body was burning with flames. Even his eyes were filled with endless flames. He roared, and the surrounding flames accompanied his fist as it smashed down on Kang Xinmu. However, Kang Xinmu did not intend to use the abyss of the demonic wings. This method had been exposed too many times, and it was easy for others to see through it. After all, it was an abyss condensed from void demonic chi. Once the opponent attacked it with the power of the void, it would be easy to destroy it. Therefore, Kang Xinmu changed to another method. Just like Tuoba Tianyu, he charged forward with his fiend celestial body. Demonic wings body refinement. Xiao Chun cultivated a paramount sage body tempering transcendent divine demon martial technique. He used the demonic chi of the 16-winged heavenly demon god's body to temper his body, giving him a demonic god's body that surpassed ordinary people. At this moment, in the face of Tuoba Tianyu's chaotic spirit refinement domain, Kang Xinmu unleashed the unparalleled strength of his fiend celestial body. Demonic chi encircled him. The endless flames surrounded Kang Xinmu, almost completely refining his fiend celestial body. But then, a pitch-black demonic chi surged out from within Kang Xinmu's fiend celestial body. The 16-winged heavenly demon god on his back suddenly spread out. Then, a giant fist of demonic chi smashed out. The entire chaotic divine refinement domain was shattered by the terrifying demonic aura brought about by this punch. At the same time, Kang Xinmu's 16-winged heavenly demon god had already charged forward and grabbed Tuoba Tianyu's fiend celestial body by the shoulder. "Break for me!" Kang Xinmu poured all his demonic chi into this hand and instantly crushed Tuoba Tianyu's fiend celestial body's shoulder into pieces. Ah! Tuoba Tianyu took a few large steps back, causing the entire arena to tremble. Endless scarlet flames exploded in all directions and dispersed from his fiend celestial body's shoulder. Strong, so strong. Tuoba Tianyu clenched his teeth. His fiery fiend celestial eyes emitted a strange glow. He was looking forward to facing such a powerful opponent. Kang Xinmu did not disappoint him. Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace. Tuoba Tianyu's fiend celestial legs stomped heavily on the arena like giant pillars of fire. Following that, terrifying flames rose from all directions. Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace was a terrifying supreme fiend celestial martial technique. It was an extremely powerful technique that he had cultivated to the extreme sage realm. At this moment, within the range of the Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace, Kang Xinmu and Tuoba Tianyu felt like they were being roasted in lava. However, Tuoba Tianyu's combat strength increased because of this. The power of the Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace allowed any of his techniques to explode with greater might. On the other hand, Kang Xinmu was constantly being suppressed within the Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace. It was as if they were trapped in an alchemy cauldron. Their surroundings were filled with extremely hot flames that could refine spirits. Terrifying heat waves constantly surged over. Even a piece of steel would be easily melted into molten iron in the Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace. Ferocious Hammer. Tuoba Tianyu suddenly erupted, and his giant fiend celestial body descended from the sky. Although his shoulder was crushed by Kang Xinmu, the chaotic heavenly fire fiend celestial body was made of lava and could directly recover with the power of lava. He raised his giant flaming fist and smashed it toward Kang Xinmu. This punch even carried a portion of the surrounding Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace's power and condensed it on his flaming fist. This attack shattered the void. One punch. It landed on the shoulder of Kang Xinmu's fiend celestial body. Tuoba Tianyu wanted an eye for an eye. Since Kang Xinmu had shattered his shoulder, he wanted to shatter Kang Xinmu's shoulder as well. Only then could he prove that he did not lose to Kang Xinmu. However, Kang Xinmu's fiend celestial body caused Tuoba Tianyu's expression to change drastically. His punch even carried the terrifying power of the Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace. However, it was as if he had smashed into a chaos stone wall. There was no feeling of anything shattering. Defensive battle runes. Kang Shinmu's formless weapon, Chen Xing, had already transformed into defensive battle runes that were attached to Kang Shinmu's fiend celestial body. Under the enhancement of countless defensive battle runes, Kang Shinmu's fiend celestial body became even more terrifying. His body was a level higher than Tuoba Tianyu's. Chaos Heavenly Fire Fiend Disc. Tuoba Tianyu rapidly retreated. He was truly shocked by the unmoving Kang Shinmu. However, he quickly retreated and released his transcendent divine weapon, the Chaos Heavenly Fire Fiend Disc. This was a lava fiend celestial weapon that looked like a millstone. Endless lava was constantly burned and roasted within the Chaos Heavenly Fire Fiend Disc, becoming stronger and stronger through the cycle of samsara. Chaos Flames Incinerate. Tuoba Tianyu released the Chaos Heavenly Fire Fiend Disc and gathered all the power in his body. His fiery eyes were filled with boundless seriousness. The primal Chaos Flames Incinerate was his strongest technique. Chapter 55-26. Chaotic Flames Incineration. Chaotic Heavenly Fire Demonic Disc. Extreme Sage Supreme Divine Demon Martial Technique and the Transcendent Divine Demon Weapon that had been fused with several powerful dazzling materials erupted with their strongest power at this moment. The surrounding void seemed to be cracking open. Endless streams of magma gushed out of the cracked space and drowned the entire space. This was the Chaotic Flames Incineration. With the enhancement of the Transcendent Divine Demon Weapon, it enveloped the entire arena. The lava was like a waterfall, pouring down on Jiang Shenwu's demon god body. The terrifying temperature was almost enough to burn his demon god body into a liquid state. It's time. Void Sky Boundary Rock. Kang Shinmu calmly attacked. The Void Sky Boundary Rock that had been fused into the formless Chen Star armament burst with dazzling light at this moment. The Void Sky Boundary Stone had created an extremely powerful defensive Void Sky Boundary formation. Furthermore, the stronger Jiang Shenwu's physical body was, the stronger the Void Sky Boundary formation would be. There was no doubt that Kang Shinmu's demon god body had reached a terrifying level of physical strength. Even Tuoba Tianyu, who was known for his physical strength, couldn't beat Kang Shinmu in terms of physical strength. This also allowed Jiang Shenwu's Void Sky Boundary Stone to instantly condense into an incomparably terrifying barrier. The surrounding lava poured down, and even though the power that could incinerate the void was unable to break through this layer of Void Sky Boundary Stone, it was directly blocked outside. Demonic Wings Tornado. 9 layers. Kang Shinmu once again unleashed the dazzling material of the formless Chen Star armament, the 33 Heavens Divine Feathers. However, he had just unleashed the power of the 33 Heavens Divine Feathers, so he only had 9 layers of attacks now. Even so, 9 layers of attacks were completely enough. The 16 wings behind him released demonic energy and condensed into countless demonic energy tornadoes that couldn't be seen with the naked eye. Accompanied by the mighty void, they instantly swept toward Tuoba Tianyu. Boom! After a crisp sound, Tuoba Tianyu's primal chaos flame incineration was sucked into Kang Shinmu's demonic wings tornado and completely shattered. Even the pouring power of the chaos lava was drawn into the demon chi storm, cut into the tiniest pieces, and lost the extremely high temperature and superpower it should have. Die! Kang Shinmu remained calm as he took a step forward. Countless demonic wing tornadoes appeared and enveloped Tuoba Tianyu's chaotic heavenly fire fiend celestial body. Amidst the endless howling of the demonic wing tornado, Tuoba Tianyu's chaos skyfire demon god body was instantly lacerated with countless wounds. His entire demon god body was sent flying, looking extremely pathetic. Kang Shinmu wins. Without needing Tuoba Tianyu to admit defeat, the seniors of the demon god race directly announced Kang Shinmu's victory. This was simply a crushing defeat. It was another crushing battle, and it was between Kang Shinmu, a third-level supreme demon god, against Tuoba Tianyu, the second strongest of the Tuoba clan. When this scene appeared, all the experts of the demon god race present were inexplicably shocked. Too strong. Was this the personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon? It was too unbelievable that there was such a terrifying existence in the world. This was a member of the dragon god race. How long had it been since he switched to cultivating the power of the demon god race? How could he burst out such a terrifying power? His demonic weapon is too strong. And it seems to be the dragon weapon used by the dragon god race. No way. That's the formless weapon. I didn't realize it until now. Finally, there were big shots of the demon god race who noticed Kang Shinmu's supreme demon weapon. Or rather, the formless weapon. This was a dragon weapon and also a demonic weapon. Whether it was the strength of the dragon god race or the demon god race, they could all use this weapon. It was too strong. Even Su'er was a little jealous of Kang Shinmu. This formless weapon was a good thing. It was a pity that the materials needed to forge the formless weapon were a little difficult to obtain. They could only be obtained in large quantities from some legacy sites. Such opportunities could only be encountered by chance. Of course, the most important thing was that the power of Kang Shinmu's formless weapon was a little terrifying. The materials that were infused with it were also extremely rare in this world. One had to know that Kang Shinmu's materials were all carefully selected. Many of them were exchanged from the legacy sites of Emperor Hua. They were priceless. In fact, such materials could not even be bought in the outside world. For example, Golden Divine Stone, Dark Night God's Feather, Emperor Hua's Sacred Heavenly Rosestone, Void Boundary Stone, and so on. Even the value of Tuoba Tianyu's supreme demon weapon, the Chaotic Heavenly Fire Demonic Plate, was not even comparable to a Void Boundary Stone. This meant that although Kang Shinmu's cultivation was relatively low, with the advantage of the battle weapon, he could already keep pace with a 5th-stage Transcendent God expert, and even crush them. No wonder he's so strong. It's all because the battle weapon is too strong. Is this the reward that this kid received for defeating the Talisman Water Tribe? The dragon gods are really generous. Everyone started to discuss. But in reality, they did not know that the formless weapon, Chen Xing, was considered a reward from the dragon gods. However, the materials for the battle weapon were obtained by Kang Shinmu himself. This formless weapon, Chen Xing, was probably worth as much as a heaven and earth sage-grade item. It could not be bought in the outside world. It was the only battle weapon that belonged to Kang Shinmu. Of course, Kang Shinmu's current combat strength was so strong not only because of the formless weapon. One had to know that he had devoured the original body of the demon god ancestor and comprehended all the profound meanings of the 16-winged sky demon god. This was the fundamental reason why he was so strong now. Everything else was just icing on the cake. The power of devouring was Kang Shinmu's real trump card. Very quickly, Kang Shinmu returned to his seat. He had already locked in the top 32. And the Su royal family, seeing Kang Shinmu's invincible prowess, were all in a good mood. They saw the hope of the Su royal family obtaining the first place. Defeating Tuoba Tianyu was so easy. When the time comes, he would definitely be able to defeat Tuoba Shui, right? Even now, many people felt that Tuoba Shui was just bluffing and didn't have any strength. Otherwise, how could Su Yi contend with him for so long? From the start of the ranking competition until now, there had already been too many surprises. Su Tianhao's elimination, Kang Shinmu's rise, Tuoba Shui actually couldn't crush Su Yi, everything seemed to be related to the Su royal family. And at this moment, finally, some clans and royal families were a little worried. Once the Su royal family obtained the first place, they would obtain 2 heaven and earth sage-grade items. To the Tuoba royal family, it was like adding snow to snow, looking at the Su royal family, if they obtained the first place, it would definitely be Kang Xinmu. Not only did the Su royal family have such a terrifying genius, they could also obtain 2 heaven and earth sage-grade items, simply shocking. Unimaginable. Chapter 55-27. But it seemed that no one could stop this. With Kang Xinmu's presence in the Su royal family, even if they weren't first, they would be second. And they would most likely not lose to that Tuoba Shui. The battle with Su Yi just now had caused many to doubt Tuoba Shui's battle prowess. Could this kid be a genius that was boasted about? Even Su Yi could contend with him for so long. That battle made people doubt Tuoba Shui's true battle prowess. At this moment, Tuoba Shui could no longer hold it in. He was too furious. I didn't expect Tuoba Tianyu to be no match for him. This guy hid quite a lot. That formless armament was not shown before, but now it seems that he still has the 9-layer gem. Tuoba Shui was a little angry. But this young master's transcendent god armament also has the 9-layer gem. At that time, I'll let him see what true suppression is. Unfortunately, he did not know that Kang Xinmu's material was not the 9-layer gem. It was 33 heavenly divine feathers. This was a material that was much more powerful than the 9-layered gem stone. It was priceless, and its effects were terrifying. Even though the opening was the same as the 9-layered gem stone, it could only unleash 9 attacks. But if the battle dragged on, the 33 heavenly divine feathers could stack up to 33 attacks. This was many times stronger than the 9-layer gem. After Kang Xinmu won, Tuoba Tianyu left the arena. However, this person's battle prowess was extraordinary. In the end, he still obtained the right to challenge. Unfortunately, to Tuoba Tianyu, what he wanted was the right to challenge? No. What he wanted was victory. He longed for a powerful opponent, longed for victory. But the reality was that he had lost. Kang Xinmu was too strong. Once the 9-layer gem appeared, the demonic wing tornado exploded. It was difficult for him to block. Moreover, the physical aspect that he was most proud of had been crushed by Kang Xinmu. Was this personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon really so talented? This was too terrifying. In the past, Tuoba Tianyu had always felt that he was the most talented. Not just in the demon god race, but in the entire great world. He didn't expect that Kang Xinmu would be able to defeat him. Tianyu, don't be discouraged. Tuoba Matian patted Jiang Yi's shoulder and had a gloomy expression as he consoled him. This Kang Xinmu is a rare genius of the dragon god race. It is very normal that you are not his match. This kid has already created countless shocking feats in the past. It's just that I didn't expect his demon god clan's cultivation to be so tyrannical. To Tuoba Tianyu, these words not only did not have any effect on consoling him, but they instead provoked him. What he was most concerned about was that Kang Xinmu was only at Transcendent God Stage 3. And he was a Level 5 Transcendent God. He had actually lost to Kang Xinmu despite having such a huge lead in terms of basic strength. This was truly unacceptable to him. But, even if he didn't want to accept the truth, he could only accept it. He raised his head and continued to watch the next battle. But in his opinion, unless it was Tuoba Shui against Kang Xinmu, there was probably nothing to see in the entire competition. Kang Xinmu advanced to the top 32. The final 32 were almost all existences at Transcendent God Stage 5, except for Kang Xinmu. Without reaching Transcendent God Stage 5, it was basically impossible to advance all the way to this level. The Su royal clan had a total of 5 people advance to this round. At the same time, the Tuoba clan and the Litian clan each had 5 people advance to this round. It was considered relatively average. This round, Ice Moon Damask against Kang Xinmu. Soon, the results of the lots were out. Everyone's expressions changed. Finally, Kang Shinmu was matched against a competitor for first place, Ice Moon Damask. Previously, Ice Moon Damask had crushed Su Tianhao and won. This had aroused great interest in Ice Moon Damask's strength. In the following matches, Ice Moon Damask continued to crush her opponent. This made it very clear that it wasn't that Su Tianhao wasn't strong enough, but Ice Moon Damask was simply too strong. Even Su Tianhao was crushed by her. Then what kind of strength did this woman possess? It was hard to guess and imagine. As for Jiang Shenwu, he was also a super powerful existence who had continuously created miracles along the way. This was especially so when he fought against Tuoba Tianyu. Not only did he suppress Tuoba Tianyu with his physical body, he even suppressed Tuoba Tianyu with his demonic martial skills. His battle prowess was too terrifying. What would be the result of a battle between these two people? Litian Xiong, Tuoba Shui, Ice Moon Damask, Kang Shinmu. Without a doubt, these four people are the strongest competitors for first place in this ranking competition. Now that Ice Moon Damask and Kang Shinmu have met in advance, who will win? Everyone began to discuss among themselves. Most people hoped that Ice Moon Damask could win. Not only did they not want the Su royal clan to become stronger, but it was also because Ice Moon Damask was one of the four great beauties of the younger generation. In the Demon God clan, she was liked by many of the younger generation. And now, Ice Moon Damask represented the hope of the Bing royal clan. Naturally, there were many clans that hoped that she could lead the Bing royal clan to rise. The Bing royal clan had quite a good relationship with many clans and royal clans. If Ice Moon Damask defeated Kang Shinmu and won, then the future of the Bing royal clan could be expected. However, even if Kang Shinmu won in the end, it did not mean that the Bing royal clan could not rise. The key still depended on the additional right to challenge. With Ice Moon Damask's strength, even if she lost, she would definitely get the additional right to challenge. Then, in the end, she would very likely become the top 3 through the additional right to challenge. On the other hand, if Kang Shinmu lost this battle, the additional right to challenge would most likely not be obtained. Many clans and royal clans did not wish for the Su royal clan to become stronger. And Kang Shinmu was this opportunity. They would not let this opportunity return to the battle. So, to Kang Shinmu, in this battle, they could only win, not lose. Of course, the two of them were not the first to fight. This time, the first to fight was Tuoba Shui. His opponent was the second strongest of the Li Tian clan, Li Tianman. Li Tianman's strength was definitely not weak. In the current Li Tian clan's younger generation, he was only inferior to Li Tianxiong, and his position was equivalent to Tuoba Tianyu. Throughout his journey, he had practically swept away all his opponents. There were even rumors that he might not lose even if he fought against Li Tianxiong, but it depended on luck. I didn't think I would fight Tuoba Shui first. If that's the case, then let me experience Tuoba Shui's skills. Ha ha ha. Li Tianman was very forthright. He charged to the center of the wrestling ring and turned into a rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god. The rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god's inheritance gave him an extremely strong body. Not to mention, he was the second strongest of the Li Tian royal clan's younger generation, Li Tianman. This Tuoba Shui's strength is too weak. I'm afraid he can't even defeat Li Tianman, right? That's possible. After all, from the situation just now, Tuoba Tianyu was actually crushed by Kang Shinmu. If Tuoba Shui lost to Li Tianman, then it would be a joke. With such strength, he dared to bet with the Su royal clan. Don't say that. If not for the Su royal clan having Kang Shinmu, wouldn't the Tuoba clan have won the bet? Everyone laughed heartily as they discussed. Especially the people of the Li Tian clan, they were not too worried about this battle. They all thought that Tuoba Shui's strength was just a bluff. Chapter 55-28. He did not expect that so many people would think that he, Tuoba Shui, was just bragging about his strength. This is ridiculous. This is too much. Wasn't it just that he was slightly targeted during the fight with Su Yi and was delayed for a bit? How did it become his strength that was bragged about? Tuoba Shui was angry, he was truly angry. He entered the arena full of anger, his eyes only focused on the second-seated disciple of the Li Tian clan, Li Tianman. Li Tianman, consider yourself unlucky. He did not say this out loud, he only thought about it in his heart. All he showed was indifference. Li Tianman would be the witness of his strength, he wanted to finish him off as soon as possible. Even if it meant exposing some of his strength. Chaotic heavenly fire demon god. Tuoba Shui was the embodiment of anger, endless lava gushed out of the arena like an erupting volcano. Martial flame spear. In his hand, endless lava condensed into a flaming spear, burning fiercely as if it had just been condensed from lava, emitting a terrifying aura of heavenly fire. Come on. Li Tianman laughed loudly, he transformed into a rock-shattering mountain demon god body, he leaped high into the air. Countless gravel gathered around his demon god's body and gathered on one of his demon god's legs, covering it and almost forming a towering mountain. It fell with a loud rumble, shattering the void. The terrifying strength of the heavenly barbarian strength caused the entire arena to tremble. Li Tianman is indeed worthy of his name. Even without using a transcendent god weapon, his physical body is still so strong and terrifying. You're wrong. He has already used his transcendent god weapon. Li Tianman's transcendent god weapon is the rock-crushing equipment. It has already covered his legs and increased the power of his moves several times. The crowd exclaimed, Li Tianman was indeed the second-seated disciple of the Li Tian clan, his strength and aura were much stronger than Tuoba Tianyu's. If it was Kang Xinmu facing Li Tianman's ferocious attack, he would not be able to block it. How should we deal with Tuoba Shui? Li Tianman's frontal attack made everyone curious, would Tuoba Shui choose to avoid it? After all, this was an attack that contained the power of a transcendent divine weapon. The rock-shattering equipment was a supreme demonic weapon that had fused 4 types of brilliant materials. At that moment it was like a protective armor covering Li Tianman's leg, making it look like a towering mountain. The surrounding void trembled as shattered rocks shook the mountains. The demon god's body smashed down like a mountain. Good timing. Just when everyone thought that Tuoba Shui was planning to avoid the confrontation, Tuoba Shui sneered. The martial flame spear in his hand exploded forth, and it even tore the space in the surroundings apart. Void Guiding Gem. Within the martial extreme battle fire spear, the Void Amplification Gem had been transformed. This was also a precious material that Tuoba Shui had obtained from the heritage ruins. It was able to draw an extremely powerful energy from the void and strengthen his combat weapon. 9-layer Gem Stone. Fury of Molten Fire Energy. The martial flame spear was already surrounded by the super-powerful lava energy that was drawn from the void. Endless demonic aura suddenly revolved around it and shook the void. In the face of Li Tianman's powerful attack, Tuoba Shui immediately exploded with his powerful strength and activated the martial flame spear. He also activated the 9-layer gem stone and the void guiding gem. The fury of molten fire energy was a supreme demonic technique that he had used. This demonic technique was an extremely powerful offensive demonic technique that he had cultivated to the Supreme Saint realm. As he roared angrily, flames rose in the arena. Lava gushed out and condensed on the tip of the martial flame spear. It tore through the void and even caused the void to hiss. The fury of 9-layer gem stone exploded. With a loud bang, a terrifying force exploded in the arena. A circle of terrifying energy rippled out and spread in all directions. Strength Heavenly Barbarian's rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god body was pushed back by the energy fluctuations, flying backward and rolling heavily on the ground of the arena. Boring, really boring. Tuoba Shui snorted coldly and calmly withdrew his hand. He had defeated Li Tianman with one move. This scene caused everyone to shut their mouths. When everyone said that Tuoba Shui's strength was based on bragging, he used his actions to prove his strength. The scene in front of them was more shocking than any of the previous battles. Because Li Tianman was the second seed of the Li Tian clan. He was second only to Li Tianxiong. Unexpectedly, he was defeated by Tuoba Shui in one move. Did this mean that Tuoba Shui was much stronger than the second seed of the Tuoba clan, Tuoba Tianyu? I was too naive. I really thought that Tuoba Tianyu was not much weaker than Tuoba Shui. Now it seems that the gap is a bit too big. Tuoba Shui's supreme god demonic weapon is also very strong. It is also infused with precious materials. Its combat power is very strong. But Li Tianman is the same. His rock-shattering armor is not just for show. It can only be said that Tuoba Shui is really stronger. His strength is real. This time the Su clan is in danger. With this kind of strength, Tuoba Shui might really be able to get first place. First place in the ranking competition. Everyone wanted to ascend to this throne. Tuoba Shui wanted to suppress the Su clan and make the Su clan deliver two great beauties according to the agreement. And Kang Xinmu wanted to protect Su Jiyu and Su Yi. He wanted to win two sacred items of heaven and earth. And the Ice Moon Silk was for the growth of the Su clan and the rise of the Su clan so that they could obtain more resources in the future. Everyone had their own ideas. But there was only one person who could truly ascend to this throne. Very strong. Kang Xinmu looked at Tuoba Shui's attack. Even he felt a bit shocked. Without a doubt, this guy was the strongest opponent he had encountered so far. His supreme god demonic weapon, the martial flame spear, was infused with materials that were not weak. Of course, compared to Kang Xinmu's formless weapon, it was still a lot weaker. At the very least, the 33 Heavens divine plume wasn't something that just anyone could obtain. However, just as Tuoba Shui turned to leave. Wait. A muffled voice sounded from behind Tuoba Shui. It came from Li Tianman. Who told you that I've already lost? Li Tianman coughed twice, then stood up and laughed loudly. Tuoba Shui, your attack is indeed very strong. But it's a pity that I have thick skin and flesh. You really could not defeat me in one move. He stood up. He still had the ability to fight. Although one of his legs had been shattered, his entire body of the demon god floated in the air, giving off the feeling of a towering mountain, as if nothing could surpass his position. What? Tuoba Shui's expression changed slightly. His chaotic heavenly fire demon god body turned, and the scarlet magma in his eyes shot out a touch of coldness. You still dare to stand up? Even if you stand up again, you will only suffer a bit more humiliation. Tuoba Shui, are you really so confident? Li Tianman laughed loudly. It's because you are so arrogant that you forget that there is always someone better than you. Today, you will definitely suffer. Let me teach you a lesson first. His battle power was very strong, extremely strong. Chapter 55-29. Li Tianman laughed heartily. His burly rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god unleashed his strongest power and leaped high into the sky. Then, the rocks condensed, and a terrifying power gathered around his demon god body, almost forming a whirlpool of rocks. This whirlpool of rocks whizzed towards Tuoba Shui in an instant. An extremely powerful pressure descended with a loud rumble. It was like a towering mountain had descended, as though it wanted to suppress all things. Good timing. Tuoba Shui was in a bad mood. Wouldn't it have been better if he had killed Li Tianman in one move? Now that Li Tianman still stood up, he was simply asking to be humiliated. He sneered, and the martial flame spear exploded in his hand, scattering endless lava. The lava was like an erupting volcano, rolling towards the sky. The terrifying power of both sides clashed in mid-air, bursting out waves of energy that caused the space to tremble, causing both sides to be shaken back. Oh! He became stronger. Tuoba Shue's expression changed slightly. Li Tianman was clearly stronger than before. This person seemed to have some kind of unique talent. When he withstood an opponent's attack, he would have a stronger resistance to it. It was similar to Kang Xinmu's devouring adaptation. This ability allowed Li Tianman to gradually adapt to Tuoba Shue's power. Demonic martial techniques of the same level did not have much of an effect on Li Tianman. Even so, so what? Tuoba Shui snorted coldly. Terrifying power exploded again, and lava burst from all over his body, bursting out, covering the entire arena like it was a scene of magma from the Earth's core. When he attacked, the magma surged. The surrounding rock fragments were all melted into white gas. Endless boiling hot magma burst out in all directions, like purgatory on Earth. A giant magma dragon formed in the hands of Tuoba Shue's chaotic heavenly fire demon god body, rushing towards Li Tianman. This move shook the heavens and the earth, causing the space to tremble at high speed. Endless power of the magma bloomed from the body of the giant magma dragon, enveloping Li Tianman. The terrifying power of air burning forced Li Tianman back. His rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god's entire body seemed to have been scorched, showing a charred black color. It made people feel a sense of fear when they saw it. How strong was the defense of heavenly barbarian strength? However, under Tuoba Shue's attacks, he was actually unable to withstand even 2 moves. One must know that Li Tianman was the second strongest person among the younger generation of the Li Tian imperial clan. Now, he couldn't even withstand 2 moves from Tuoba Shui. No one doubted Li Tianman's strength. The only possibility was that Tuoba Shui was too strong. When he defeated Li Tianman with 1 move, it was shocking, but it was far less shocking than now, because it was obvious that the first move wasn't that powerful. If Li Tianman lost, it could only be said that Li Tianman was not strong enough. But obviously, Li Tianman's defense was very strong. Furthermore, the impact of the rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god's body was also very strong. The terrifying strength made it hard for ordinary people to withstand. As for Tuoba Shui, he still fought back fiercely. Whether it was in terms of momentum or power, he was far superior to the strength heavenly barbarian. Finally, the strength heavenly barbarian was forced back, and his whole body was charred black. The heavenly barbarian of strength had lost his ability to fight. Although he did not want to accept defeat, he really did not have the ability to resist Tuoba Shui. His entire body was already severely injured. Even if he was given another chance to challenge, it would be very difficult for him to win. His injuries were too severe. Tuoba Shui wins. When the hosting demon god clan's royal expert announced, Tuoba Shui turned and left. At the same time, he looked in the direction of Kang Xinmu with a provocative look. He now saw Kang Xinmu as a great enemy, and he had absolute confidence in defeating Kang Xinmu. However, Kang Xinmu understood Tuoba Shui better through the battle just now. His second move, the lava dragon, is very powerful. Even I can't easily resist it. Kang Xinmu's face was solemn. Fortunately, he had a trump card. With Qin Xing and the power of devouring, it should not be a problem for him to deal with Tuoba Shui. In the following battles, Kang Xinmu watched more seriously. Because at this stage of the tournament, every member of the younger generation who participated in the tournament was an expert. And soon, Kang Xinmu would face the strongest opponent from the beginning until now. Ice Moon Silk. Ice Moon Silk was the inheritance of the Zero-Degree Demon God. The heir of the Ice Clan's royal family could unleash 100% of the Zero-Degree Demon God's strength. But Kang Shinmu was not weak. He could almost unleash 100% of the inheritance of the 16-winged Sky Demon God, and a 16-winged Sky Demon God was definitely stronger than the Zero-Degree Demon God. No matter what, this was an important battle. Kang Shinmu could only win. He could not lose. After another 2 battles. Finally, it was Kang Shinmu's and Ice Moon Silk's turn. "Brother Jiang, you can do it." Sui clenched her small fists and cheered for Kang Shinmu cutely. She did not want Kang Shinmu to lose to Ice Moon Silk. She was originally very unhappy that Ice Moon Silk was called one of the 4 great beauties of the Demon God clan's younger generation. She was not bad-looking, but because she did not cultivate seriously, she was not among the 4 great beauties. The 4 great beauties of the Demon God clan's younger generation, other than beauty, cultivation talent and strength were also important. Previously, Sui had been slacking in her cultivation. Of course, she did not display much of her strength, causing her to only be at the 2nd level of the Super Demon God. Compared to Ice Moon Silk, she was indeed much weaker. Anyway, she could not beat Ice Moon Silk now. That was all because she was lazy previously. Otherwise, it would not be like this. I hope Ice Moon Silk can win this battle. Su Tianhao thought with a gloomy expression. He could only watch the battle now. He was eliminated by Ice Moon Silk previously. Now, it was Kang Shinmu's turn to fight Ice Moon Silk. How could he not take this battle seriously? If Kang Shinmu won, it meant that Kang Shinmu was stronger than him. This was a fact that he could not accept. Although this fact was more obvious now, he was not willing to accept it. Unless Kang Shinmu could defeat Ice Moon Silk, he would have no choice but to accept this fact. If Ice Moon Silk defeated Kang Shinmu, Su Tianhao's heart would be comforted. Not only could he not beat Ice Moon Silk, but Kang Shinmu also could not beat it. It would be best if Ice Moon Silk won 1st place. This way, he could cover up the fact that he had lost to the greatest extent. He was not too weak, but his opponent was too strong, a pity. In Kang Shinmu's eyes, Ice Moon Silk was still not his match. Countless people were looking forward to this battle. Among the 24 royal clans of the Demon God race, everyone was whispering and discussing who would win between the 2. Judging from their previous performances, the 2 sides were roughly equal in strength. It all depended on which of the 2 had concealed more during the previous battle. They were both experts. The outcome was hard to predict. Chapter 55-30. Kang Shinmu and Ice Moon Damask entered the arena. Ice Moon Damask was very beautiful, but her personality was too cold. Perhaps it was because she was carrying too much pressure, but the hope of the Bing royal family's rise rested on her shoulders. Her eyes were filled with determination and seriousness. It could be seen that she attached great importance to Kang Shinmu. After all, Kang Shinmu had defeated Tuoba Tianyu, the 2nd in command of the Tuoba royal family. However, her strength was definitely above Tuoba Tianyu's. Begin. Following the royal expert's order, Kang Shinmu and Ice Moon Damask transformed into their demon god bodies at almost the same time. Zero-Degree Demon God Body. It was a huge demon god body with a slender figure and an icy aura. The moment it appeared, rings of ice spread towards the surroundings, dyeing the entire arena into a world of ice and snow. When she fought Su Tianhao, she almost didn't use her true strength. But now, she would give it her all so that she wouldn't have any regrets. Kang Shinmu transformed into a 16-winged demon god body. The 16 demon god wings contained pitch-black demonic aura and slowly flapped behind his back. The demon god aura that was naturally revealed condensed into demonic aura that slowly spread towards the surroundings. The pitch-black demonic aura collided with the icy aura, creating explosive sparks. Demonic Wing Tornado. Kang Shinmu didn't hesitate and directly performed a supreme divine demon martial skill. The 16 demon god wings behind him each condensed a terrifying demonic aura tornado that swept towards Ice Moon Damask. The terrifying power whistled and swept, forcing the air in the arena to the outside, as if 16 huge dragons were breaking through the sky. 10,000-year ice barrier. Ice Moon Damask's beautiful eyes carried a trace of coldness. The slender 0-degree demon god body released rays of icy aura. These icy auras gathered in front of her and quickly formed an incomparably sturdy 10,000-year-old ice barrier, exuding a terrifying aura. The 16 demonic wing tornadoes carried a surging might and instantly crashed into the 10,000-year cold ice barrier. Waves of cold air were shattered by the impact and turned into ice crystals that shot into the surroundings. The demonic chi tornado was howling, but the 10,000-year-old ice barrier was as firm as a boulder. Only a few pieces of ice on the surface had been smashed, and the main body remained unmoved. This defense is very strong. Kang Shinmu's face sank. He had roughly probed the defensive strength of the Ice Moon Damask. Such a defensive strength was not something he could casually break through. Chen Xing, cooperate with me. Behind Kang Shinmu, the 16 demon god wings that were enshrouded with the aura of a demon god spread out with a whistling sound. The formless weapon, Chen Xing, bloomed with an invisible light in his hand. The battle runes on it had completely transformed into offensive battle runes and blessed his 16-winged heavenly demon god body. One more time, demonic wing tornado. This time, the demonic wing tornado that contained boundless offensive power condensed again and whizzed toward the Ice Moon Damask. A terrifying power swept across the entire area at this moment. Demon God Storm Descend. The eye of the 16 storms bombarded the ice barrier in the blink of an eye. After being enhanced by the battle runes of the celestial star warrior, the destructive power of each storm was dozens of times greater than the previous one. The 10,000-year-old ice barrier shattered under the bombardment of the storm, turning into countless pieces of ice that scattered everywhere. Absolute Zero Frost Halberd. Seeing this, the Ice Moon Damask raised the right hand of her demon god body and opened her slender palm that contained the power of frost. Wisps of frost aura condensed in her hand and instantly formed an ice halberd that was hundreds of meters long. Absolute Zero Frost Halberd, Ice Moon Damask's supreme demon weapon. Moreover, this supreme demon weapon was fused with many kinds of dazzling materials. At this moment, the effect of the dazzling materials exploded. Waves of endless frost aura surged out of the void and condensed on the Absolute Zero Frost Halberd. The dazzling materials that absorbed the power of frost aura from the void greatly enhanced the Ice Moon Damask. Moreover, on the Absolute Zero Frost Halberd, the offensive and defensive battle runes each took up half. At this moment, the endless frost aura condensed into an ice abyss barrier in front of her. This ice abyss barrier split the space apart. It seemed to completely isolate the space where she and Kang Shinmu were. The endless frost aura could freeze all attacks. Extreme Frozen Abyss. The Ice Moon Damask's eyes were cold, and her entire body was suffocating cold aura. Her slender and tall Absolute Zero demon god body even floated in midair. The ice in her hands seemed to have a life of its own as it revolved around her. It was ready to fuse with the Extreme Frozen Abyss at any moment to strengthen its defensive abilities. Kang Shinmu's super powerful Devil Wings tornado had already arrived. It penetrated the Extreme Frozen Abyss and seemed to have disappeared from the arena. But this time, his demonic wing tornado already contained the power of devouring. He wanted to ensure that he wouldn't lose, so he directly used his trump card. The devouring power contained in the Devil Wings tornado surged into the Extreme Frozen Abyss along with the 16 storm eyes. Soon, he began to devour the power of the Extreme Frozen Abyss. Waves of cold aura rose from his demon god body, causing his resistance to this frost attribute power to increase rapidly. Moreover, the power of the extreme frozen abyss was quickly broken by him. Soon, a crack appeared in the void. The extreme frozen abyss shattered. Just like the surface of ice shattering, spiderweb-like cracks appeared on the surface of the extreme frozen abyss. Seeing this, Ice Moon Damask's entire being became serious. Kang Shinmu's strength far exceeded her imagination. That transcendent demon weapon was too powerful. Of course, she didn't know that Kang Shinmu's Chen Xing was a formless weapon. It could freely change the form of battle runes. Whether it was offense or defense, it could be the strongest. It was several times stronger than any other demon weapon of the same level. Break! Finally, Kang Shinmu shouted. The devouring power accompanied by demonic aura finally exploded in the extreme frozen abyss, blasting the entire extreme frozen abyss into pieces. Cold aura and demonic aura interweaved in the arena and exploded in all directions. They formed streams of energy that brushed past Ice Moon Damask and Kang Shinmu's demon god body. As if the arena had been cleared, there was instantly no power left in the arena. Only the two people who hadn't moved since the beginning were left. Their demon god bodies still stood tall like mountains. So strong. Ice Moon Damask felt the pressure. Her beautiful eyes started to show some nervousness. In the extreme frozen abyss just now, she had used almost all of her defensive abilities, but it was broken by Kang Shinmu in one move. It seemed that Kang Shinmu's strength was far from what he had shown. He was stronger than everyone had imagined. Chapter 55-31. As the frozen abyss collapsed, all of the energy in the arena turned into air currents that rippled around the two's bodies. Kang Shinmu's 16-winged heavenly demon god body was shrouded in pitch-black demonic energy. The 16 wings on his back lightly flapped, and he looked like a demonic angel descending. The 0-degree demon god body that the Ice Moon Silk had transformed into was shrouded in snow-white demonic energy. It condensed into ice crystals and fell down like snowflakes. Her demonic eyes reflected the shape of snowflakes. They were crystal clear and gave off a deep and cold feeling. 0-degree glacial halberd. This transcendent demonic weapon released the strongest power of ice crystals in her hand. Icicles condensed and gathered in front of her demonic body. The amplification of the transcendent demonic weapon caused the icy demonic energy in her 0-degree demon god body to surge out like a whirlpool. As if an iceberg had shattered, boundless cold energy instantly froze the air. Glacier spread. The transcendent demonic martial skill that was cultivated to the extreme sage realm was released in the hands of the Ice Moon Silk. A terrifying power swept towards the surroundings and seemed to drag the entire arena into an ice age. At this moment, as far as Jiang Shenwu's eyes could see, the entire world had turned snow-white. Space froze. Glacier cover. It was as if all of the coldness flowing in the river of time had gathered at this moment and surrounded Kang Shinmu's 16-winged heavenly demon god body. This was the Ice Moon Silk's trump card. It was an extremely powerful attack. After the glacier spread, all of the other powers in the arena were weakened and suppressed. The power of her icy demonic energy would directly skyrocket and become the strongest power in the arena. It was even several times stronger than when she used her full strength. The surrounding spectators exclaimed in surprise when they saw this move. This girl is incredible. How many people in the Bing royal family were unable to cultivate this transcendent demonic martial skill to the extreme sage realm? The last person to cultivate this demonic martial skill to the extreme sage realm should be an elder of the Bing royal family, right? There are only a few people in the entire Bing royal family who can comprehend this demonic martial skill to the extreme sage realm, and the youngest is over 100 years old. This girl's future is limitless. Countless people exclaimed in admiration. Even Su Tianhao, although he was somewhat unwilling to admit it, could now completely sense the intense changes that had occurred in the entire arena after the river of ice had spread. Kang Shinmu's devil chi was suppressed to less than 30% of its original strength. As for the Ice Moon Silk's cold aura, it increased by several folds. The might of any ice-attributed demonic martial technique would be several times stronger than before. On the other hand, no matter what demonic martial technique Kang Shinmu executed, its might would only be 30% of its previous might. This was being suppressed by the Ice Moon Silk's domain. However, in the face of all this, Kang Shinmu was not worried at all. Instead, the corners of his mouth curled up. A pitch-black demonic aura emanated from his body. It had been suppressed at first, but it was soon released from the 16 black demonic wings like mushrooms after the rain. The devouring power devoured the spreading power of the glacial river around him. Although the devouring speed was a little slow, after all, this power had frozen the void, suppressing all other powers in the void. However, it was still able to devour it. As the devouring power spread to the surroundings, Kang Shinmu raised his hand and held the formless Chen Xing weapon in his hand tightly. The dazzling materials of the formless Chen Xing weapon all released their strongest might. 33 Heavens Divine Feathers. Kang Shinmu released the 33 Heavens Divine Feathers, and then the devouring power and devil chi that erupted from his body directly spread into 9 layers. At first, it devoured the surrounding glacial river at 9 times the speed. And as time passed, the devouring power became stronger and stronger, from 9 layers to 10, then 11, this was the 33 Heavens Divine Feathers. The terrifying power finally appeared at this moment. Endless devil chi surrounded Kang Shinmu, preventing him from being affected by the glacial river. So strong. Seeing this, Ice Moon Silk's expression became somewhat solemn. She didn't expect the suppression of the glacial river to have little effect on Kang Shinmu. This made her realize that she didn't have much time left. She had to defeat Kang Shinmu before Kang Shinmu completely broke the glacial river. Although at this moment, Kang Shinmu wasn't affected by the glacial river suppression, Ice Moon Silk could obtain the enhancement brought by the glacial river. 1000-Year Supreme Ice. She swept the 0-degree frost halberd in her hand, driving the endless devil chi in the surrounding void to condense into a piece of 1000-Year Supreme Ice. This piece of 1000-Year Supreme Ice directly condensed around Kang Shinmu's body. Along with the void, it continuously shrouded him, quickly enveloping his entire body. The terrifying cold air was so oppressive that it almost caused cracks to appear in the void. Not long later, Kang Shinmu's entire 16-winged heavenly demon body was frozen by the ice, turning into a huge 16-winged ice sculpture. He's frozen. Everyone tensed up at this moment. Would Kang Shinmu be defeated just like this? Su Yi, and the rest all had their hearts in their throats. Kang Shinmu mustn't be defeated. Once Kang Shinmu was defeated this time, he would be like Su Tianhao, unable to obtain the additional challenge rights. He would miss the championship. But Ice Moon Silk was so strong. Even if Kang Shinmu failed, everyone could understand. After all, in everyone's perception, Kang Shinmu's strength had been suppressed to only 30% by the glacial river, and Ice Moon Silk was increasing rapidly within the range of the glacial river. The power of the 1000-Year Supreme Ice had increased by at least a few times. However, just when everyone was tensed up, cracks suddenly appeared on the 1000-Year Supreme Ice. It was like a spider web. First, there were a few spots, then the cracks spread to the surroundings. In just a moment, the entire 1000-Year Supreme Ice exploded, shattering into ice shards and exploding. Endless demonic energy surged out like dark clouds, shrouding Kang Shinmu's entire heavenly demon body. The surging demonic energy was a devouring power. Very quickly, Kang Shinmu absorbed all the devouring power into his body. It's about time. 1,000 winged blades. Kang Shinmu's expression was calm. His pair of heavenly demon eyes were incomparably deep, and the demonic energy around his body condensed into blades. Under the enhancement of the 33 heavenly feathers, each blade was divided into 33. In an instant, the entire arena was filled with tens of thousands of demonic energy blades. 1,000 winged blades. The 33 heavenly feathers had a total of 33 attacks. It was equivalent to Kang Shinmu casting the 1,000 winged blades 33 times. At this moment, its power exploded. Go! Chapter 55-32. 33 layers of 1,000 devil wings blades. The saber light, which looked like boundless wings, formed a pitch-black sky, enveloping the entire wrestling ring. Countless devil wings blades surged towards the ice moon damask. 100 million years icy wings. The ice moon damask's entire body erupted with an icy aura. Her eyes revealed an incomparably grave expression. Kang Shinmu's attack was too strong. She had no choice but to use her strongest technique to block. The 100 million years icy wings was her strongest defensive demonic martial technique, and she had long cultivated it to the level of the supreme sage realm. In the next moment, boundless icy aura condensed behind her and transformed into a pair of ice wings. The boundless icy aura instantly exploded towards the surroundings. That pair of ice wings was incomparably pure white, and its surface flowed with an icy aura that came from billions of years ago. Like the wings of an angel, it folded up and wrapped around the ice moon damask's slender demonic body. The 1,000 devil wings blades finally descended. They broke through all the obstructions of the icy aura and slashed at the pair of ice wings that had been folded up. Almost in an instant, cracks appeared on the wings. The pair of ice wings quickly became riddled with holes, and it even completely collapsed after a short moment. But what appeared in front of everyone was a snow-white eggshell. This eggshell was incomparably smooth, as though it was an ice cocoon formed by the ice moon damask. It contained the power of the void. Countless 1,000 devil wings blades swept over and landed on this snow-white ice cocoon eggshell. More than half of its power was directly transmitted away by the void power. So strong. Even Kang Shinmu couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. This ice moon damask's defensive technique was too strong. He had accumulated to 33 layers of 1,000 devil wings blades, but still couldn't break through it. That snow-white ice cocoon eggshell withstood countless 1,000 devil wings blades, but it was still intact. But immediately after, Kang Shinmu's 16-winged demonic body stepped forward. Countless pitch-black devouring power was released from the 16 demonic wings, condensing into numerous dark tendrils that enveloped the ice cocoon eggshell. Devour. He began to devour the void power on the ice cocoon eggshell, as well as the power of the frost. Nothing could resist the devouring power of the devouring power. If there was, then it was because Kang Shinmu's devouring power was not strong enough. Even though the ice moon damask's defense was strong, it was still nothing in the face of the devouring power. Not long after, the ice cocoon eggshell that enveloped her was already tainted with an endless pitch-black color. Kang Shinmu had already devoured more than half of the void and frost energy. The originally snow-white eggshell of the ice cocoon seemed to have been contaminated as it was shrouded in endless pitch-black demonic energy. Black clouds covered the sky as Kang Shinmu waved his hand. The ice moon silk's eggshell was broken. Her slender, snow-white body of the 0-degree demon god was completely exposed to Kang Shinmu, and she was already enshrouded by the pitch-black demon chi that filled the sky. It was completely isolated from the outside world. The effect of the ice river spreading that she had cast just now could no longer affect her. As for Kang Shinmu, it had no effect at all. I lost. A hint of pity appeared in the eyes of the demon god of the ice moon silk. She was still defeated. She was completely suppressed by Kang Shinmu. At that very moment, she did not have any ability to resist. Her strongest 100-million-year wings of glaciers was broken by Kong Shinmu with the most direct method, causing her to lose the possibility of blocking Kong Shinmu's other attacks. Kong Shinmu is victorious. The outcome was finally decided. Kong Shinmu withdrew the devouring power and demon qi, and the powerful aura in the entire arena finally returned to normal. He removed the form of the demon god's body and returned to the Su royal family's seating area. At that very moment, the surrounding people widened their eyes. They did not expect such an outcome. What exactly happened? No one in the arena was able to detect what kind of power Kong Shinmu had used to break the Ice Moon Damask's 100-million-year wings of glaciers. It was a strange and deep power that was incomparably compatible with the demon qi. This kind of power was deep and terrifying. Even existences at the level of Su'er and Tuoba Devil Sky could not figure out what kind of power it was. Very strong. Very mysterious. This was Emperor Shi's personal disciple? I like it. The corner of Su'er's mouth curled up. He admired Kong Shinmu more and more. He originally thought that the battle between Kong Shinmu and the Ice Moon Damask would be the most difficult battle. But he did not expect Kong Shinmu to defeat the Ice Moon Damask so easily. It was too unexpected. From the start, Kong Shinmu did not seem to use too much power. He only used his basic strength to suppress the Ice Moon Damask. This was too shocking. Kong Shinmu's battle strength had already exceeded Su'er's expectations. It was a pleasant surprise for him. You have a good eye. Su'er said to Su Jiyu. Of course. Su Jiyu pursed her lips and smiled. Her gentle face maintained a smile. She glanced at the returning Kong Shinmu and nodded at Kong Shinmu with a smile. She did not say anything. Everything was understood without words. She already had an understanding of Kong Shinmu's strength. She had already guessed the outcome of the battle against the Ice Moon Damask. But she did not expect Kong Shinmu to win so smoothly. This was also because the Ice Moon Damask clearly did not plan on fighting to the death with Kong Shinmu. Otherwise, Kong Shinmu's battle would definitely be more difficult. At least, it would not be so easy. And the Ice Moon Damask was also very clear, even if she fought to the end, she might not be able to defeat Kong Shinmu. Rather than that, she might as well conserve her strength and leave it for the final additional challenge right. Without a doubt, the Ice Moon Damask had obtained the additional challenge right after the voting. As for who she would challenge at the end? No one knew. In any case, it could not be Kong Shinmu. And now, could Kong Shinmu really obtain first place? Many people had already begun to ponder this matter. Based on the current situation, Kong Shinmu's battle strength had exceeded expectations, and he had even defeated the Ice Moon Damask. Following that, would the Li Tianxiong and Tuoba Shui be able to defeat Kong Shinmu? From a subjective point of view, other than the people of the Su clan royal family, the others did not wish for Kong Shinmu to obtain first place in the ranking competition. After all, Kong Shinmu was a genius from the Dragon God race. If a genius from the Dragon God race obtained first place in the ranking competition of the Demon God race royal family, wouldn't it be a great loss of face for the Demon God race? But he truly used the inherited power of the Demon God race. There was no way to deprive him of the right. Therefore, everyone present was very worried. Once Kong Shinmu really obtained first place, not only would the Demon God race lose face, but more importantly, the Su clan royal family would obtain 2 sacred items from the Tuoba clan royal family. To the Su clan royal family, how great of an upgrade would that be? To Kong Shinmu and Su Yi, how great of an upgrade would it be? Immeasurable. Chapter 55-33. Kong Shinmu's victory made all the members of the Demon God clan royal family feel a heavy atmosphere. His strength was too strong. Among the younger generation of the demon god clan royal family, almost no one could compare to him. More importantly, how long had Kong Shinmu been in the demon god clan great world? I heard that Kong Shinmu cultivated the Su clan royal family's demon god clan heritage before coming to the demon god clan, but he was not strong before. That's right. No matter when, he always displayed the cultivation of the dragon god clan. I did not expect him to cultivate our demon god clan's heritage so smoothly. He is a genius. The stronger Kong Shinmu's talent was, the more shocked and wary the crowd became. After all, Kong Shinmu was not a native of the demon god clan. Although he cultivated the demon god clan's heritage and had a close relationship with the Su clan royal family, he was ultimately not a member of the demon god clan. This naturally made the demon god clan wary of him. Of course, Kong Shinmu had a close relationship with the Su clan royal family. Even Sui of the Su clan royal family had that relationship with Kong Shinmu. Since that was the case, they could not say anything about it. No matter what, the relationship between the Dragon God clan and the Demon God clan was still very close. The ranking competition continued. Next, everyone's focus was on Kong Shinmu. This time, Kong Shinmu had even defeated the Ice Moon Damask. Other than Tuoba Shui, no one else was his match. And the following situation was just as everyone expected. Kong Shinmu did not put in much effort, but he had already won all the way to the top 4. The person fighting Kong Shinmu was the strongest of the Li Tian clan royal family's younger generation, Li Tianxiong. This was Kong Shinmu's second final battle. As long as he defeated Li Tianxiong and then Tuoba Shui, he would be the champion of the ranking competition. Without a doubt, Li Tianxiong was second only to Tuoba Shui in this ranking competition. Even compared to the Ice Moon Damask, he was on par or even stronger. This person was known for his terrifying strength in body refinement. He possessed the inheritance of the rock-shattering mountain-shaking demonic god and was extremely powerful. Before Kong Shinmu had revealed his strength, Li Tianxiong was the only one who could be mentioned in the same breath as Tuoba Shui. At that time, everyone thought that apart from Tuoba Shui, only Li Tianxiong had the strength to fight for the championship. Later on, they all felt that the Ice Moon Silk had the ability to compete for the championship. Until now, everyone was even more optimistic about Kong Shinmu. After all, the strength that Kong Shinmu had displayed before was strong enough to be mentioned in the same breath as the Power Sky Bear. You are very strong, but so am I. As for who is stronger, we will soon find out. Li Tianxiong laughed heartily as he stepped onto the arena. The ranking competition was coming to an end, and everyone was getting more and more nervous. Regarding the battle between Kong Shinmu and Li Tianxiong, many people were guessing who would win. Would Kong Shinmu suppress Li Tianxiong, or would Li Tianxiong defeat Kong Shinmu? Everyone was waiting to see what would happen. From the looks of it, both possibilities existed. After all, they had not really fought, and no one knew who was stronger. You want to compete with me in terms of physical strength? Kong Shinmu looked at Li Tianxiong, who had transformed into a rock-shattering mountain demon god body. His entire body was filled with a mountain-like strength, and his competitive spirit was aroused. To Kong Shinmu, it had been a long time since someone had competed with him purely in terms of physical strength. This Power Sky Bear happened to be an opponent that could let him fight to his heart's content. The body of a 16-winged heavenly demon god possessed an extremely strong physical body. Furthermore, Jiang Shenwu cultivated a body-tempering transcendent divine demon martial technique, the heavenly demon wings. His physical body was even more horrifying. Moreover, his strongest point was the power of devouring. Devouring. It strengthened his physical body's resistance. In addition to the formless weapon Chen Xing's defensive battle patterns, Kong Shinmu's demon god body had extraordinary resistance. Extremely terrifying. Bring it on. Kang Xinmu did not waste any time. He transformed into his 16-winged heavenly demon god body and charged at his opponent. Ah! This feels great. Upon seeing this, the heavenly strength bear's eyes lit up. He was looking forward to this battle. After all, the rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god's body excelled in physical combat. Close combat was what a man should do. In the previous battles, there were very few opponents who could compete with him in terms of physical strength. Even the likes of Tuoba Shui would avoid his attacks, not daring to fight him head-on. But now, Kang Xinmu had transformed into his demon god body and charged at him as if he wanted to fight him head-on. This is what a real man should do. Is Kang Xinmu an idiot? How could he be so stupid as to compete with the Li Tian clan in terms of physical strength? He had a chance to win, but he chose to compete with Li Tian Xiong in terms of physical strength. He thought too much. This person is overestimating himself. What a waste of his talent. His brain is not working well. No one was optimistic about Kang Xinmu's chances. After all, the rock-shattering mountain demon god of the Li Tian clan was much stronger than a 16-winged heavenly demon god in terms of physical strength. Among the demon god clan's inheritors of the same level, no one could compete with the inheritors of the rock-shattering mountain demon god in terms of physical strength. In the Su dynasty's camp, there were quite a few people who furrowed their brows. Is there something wrong with Kang Xinmu's brain? He gave up his advantage and went to compete with Li Tian Xiong in terms of physical strength? Su Tianhao couldn't help but speak out. He had been looking for a chance to slander Kang Xinmu. Now, he finally found the chance. In his opinion, Kang Xinmu had delivered himself to him. This person was too brainless. Don't talk about Brother Jiang like that. Su Yi's hair stood on end when he heard this. He snorted and said, Brother Jiang naturally has his reasons for doing this. If you are stronger than him, you can say whatever you want. But you can't even defeat the Ice Moon Silk. Su Tianhao's face darkened when he heard this. He looked around. It was obvious that many people weren't too satisfied with Kang Xinmu's current actions. But without a doubt, the Su clan's people seemed to be more dissatisfied with Su Tianhao. That's right. Kang Xinmu is a bit strange right now. He actually chose to compete with Li Tian Xiong in terms of physical strength. But you, Su Tianhao, don't have the right to criticize him, right? That's right. Kang Xinmu has done very well. Without him, we won't even have any hope of becoming the champion. Su Tianhao, you have to rely on your own strength to speak. Since you're weaker than him, just watch carefully. Su Tianhao was dumbfounded. He thought to himself that before he came, he was the leader of the Su clan's younger generation. Many people respected him and respected him. But now, how long had it been? These people actually turned around and ridiculed him.